In order to know how many legs they have, I came to a haunted hospital with 3 grenades. As a ghost, the old man heard this problem. I was scared and trembled, because as long as you answer wrong, the other party will cut off his dog head. He would not think of you who make countless people afraid of. It turned out to be a lamb in the hands of a man. It all started 3 years ago, when a strange world suddenly descended. Constantly, I was forcibly pulled into the game world called Hell, carry out various terrible tasks and perform live broadcasts worldwide. Successful people get rewards and continue to become stronger. The loser permanently deducts life until death. Top psychologist was also pulled into this game. As soon as he appeared, he attracted everyone's attention, because his mental strength is as high as 101%. Players in the current top list, the Dragon Emperor Demon God is 100. Unfortunately, he was randomly passed in the giant elephant hospital with the highest mortality rate. Just enter the hospital. The data source code appears unknown sequence chaos. Zioya, who was fainted in the operating room, slowly woke up. He got up from the tattered iron bed. I'm a bit. A flash is the dark red orangutan that cannot be checked. Then, Zioya got some unstable data. Do not overwhelm the wall and cannot be destroyed. The door-to-door need door-free card is unknown black shadow dangerous. These data from where I do not know from. It revealed important information. And get access card. Escape from the hospital seems to be the ultimate goal. Zioya confirmed that there was no danger around. Just open the door and go out. The light outside is bright and dark. There are decaying mold spots on the walls. At the door of 409, he heard some movements. Gap. I found a dying old man lying inside. After the old man saw Zioya arrive, I pray to speak. I want to go to the toilet side. Just look at the young man. Can you help me get up? Zioya did not answer immediately. He looked at the old man carefully. Those unstable data merged again. Leland's high-level danger. Cannot move slowly and slowly capture monsters. Combat attributes are super strong, but the scope of the attack cannot be moved and the attack range is narrow. There are even fatal weaknesses. Zioya's mind is running quickly, then step by step towards the old man. The old man on the sick bed. There is a touch of resentment and cold in the eyes. At this time in the live broadcast room, there are many discussions. Mobilizes newcomer is a cerebral palsy, but they soon found something wrong, because Zioya not only stopped the action, backed and walked around the back of the old man. Next second, a sharp surgery knife arrived at his forehead. Li Lohan asked in a panic and asked him what he wanted to do. Ziri watched him open calmly back. I ask you a question. I will take you to the toilet after the answer is right. I will cut off your dog's head after answering wrong. Look at the surgery knife near the foot. He can only reluctantly agree, because setting yourself cannot turn around at all. At this moment he also became a lamb to be slaughtered. Zioya then said coldly, how many leg hair did I have? When Zhao saw the other party, he slowly stabbed it without answering, and Li Laoan looked in horror and kept begging for mercy. Do not. You ask another question. Zioya nodded and agreed for a moment. Where is the access card of the good hospital? The old man was loosened and answered in a hurry. There are 3 access cards in total. Zhang was in the logistics department on the dean. There is another. I have not finished the words yet. A knife suddenly cut through his neck stalk. Zioya smiled and sorry for you. I do not have so many problems. Ding, your soul weapon touched the grievances of the ghost. Successfully unblock. Surgery knife can be given to ghosts. Extra damage caused by things. You killed Leo Lahan to get a slight enhancement. At this time a file bag on the table next to Addis's attention. When picking up the file bag, the sound of the system also rang with it, triggering hidden task Leland's last wish. Immediately after the old man's account he sat up. Young people, thank you for letting me get rid of. The file bag in your hand is equipped with a real estate certificate. That's the only savings in my life. My daughter Liuxu to get it. Privately stole affection with the dean of Jiksang Hospital. Attempt to kill me. But later, she died because of an accidental elevator accident. This is the case that is not the case. I beg you to help me kill the dean. As an exchange of this real estate certificate, it will belong to you. The voice sounded again. The sound of the system sounded again. Obtaining items Ilahan's real estate certificate. Quality green. Seeing this scene, the audience in the live room is boiling. Wasinobi. This newcomer. Actually, the hidden task of Jixiang Hospital was hit. It turned out that Liu Lahan could not move at all. But how did he know? Said this newcomer was cerebral palsy just now. Please stand up. A person with a special frame spoke in the live broadcast room. Although some crooked, but his performance is really good. Mental judgment reactions can be. This is not a corner. Yang Tao, vice chairman of the Union of the Joint Camp. Yang Tao answered this without lack of people. Just by the way, take a look at the newcomer's situation this year. Then he watched Zoe's every move. Start analyzing. Li Lahan had told Zoe vaguely just now. His daughter died in the elevator room. This means that the elevator in the hospital cannot be used anymore. In terms of the current situation, there is a dangerous resentment in the elevator. Just analyzed here, he suddenly stunned on the spot, because Zioyi actually held the real estate book straight. Run the elevator. Zioyi stared at the elevator for a long time, finally chose to press. Then a prompt appears. Low-level elevator danger. There is a grievance in it. His strength and resistance have been reduced seriously, but still have a 5x constitution of human beings. You cannot confront them with bare hands. After seeing the prompt, Zioyi's mouth showed a smile. Most of the died in it was Liu Lahan's daughter. His strength and resistance be cut very seriously. That good. Thinking of this, he strode into the elevator. The audience outside the live broadcast room was nervous. In this public dangerous world, it's not wise to enter the elevator. With the sink of the elevator, the light began to flash unnaturally. Zoe kept looking around. The sticky liquid fell on his forehead. Then he held his shoulder on his shoulder. Zoe turned his head to look. Zhang's blurred face appeared in front of him. But Xiaoyu was unexpectedly performed without panic, even a little excited in the complexion. You are Lia Lohan's daughter, right? Looking at the man in front of him is not afraid at all. Liu also covered itself. When she reacted, she asked me, is Liu Xu? Are you here to help me revenge? Your father has a special gift to give you? What he left for you alone seems to be a real estate certificate. Let me give it to you in person. Liu Xu heard this a little dare to believe it. My dad left me the real estate certificate. Finally left to me. Zhuojian hooked the other party, then continued to ask, let me talk to me about you, right? Did not you die because of unexpectedly? Why get revenge? Su Wenyan's breath on his body began to fluctuate fiercely. Everyone thinks this is an accident. That's not an accident. The dean murdered me. He pushed me down from the rooftop. She said suddenly, Ling in front of Zoe. Help me kill him. Bring his head back. I will give you a generous remuneration. After Zoe heard a smile appears at the corner of the mouth. No system reminds hidden task. This also means that the female ghost is this. It is estimated that there is no compensation, right? But it does not matter. At this point he seemed to scratch his head as if he did not notice it. Ask the dean has any weaknesses. Li Chu then answered that he is the strongest ghost here, but it can also be said to be the weakest. Unlike other ghosts, he did not know he was dead. If you can make him realize that he is dead, his obsession power will also disappear. Female ghost finished speaking. Zioyu will use the real estate certificate in the below. I handed it to the female ghost together. I understand the real estate certificate for you. I'll find a way to help you get revenge. Lee's no doubt. I took the things that Zhao Yai gave him in hand, and Zhao hummed Xiaoku quickly and left here, still fiddled with the ring of the grenade in my hand. After a short pause, a fierce explosion sounded. The audience in the live broadcast room was aggressive again. I'm a psychologist. Why do you hold the grenade with you? The man broke into a haunted hospital with 3 grenades. The horrible ghost inside is like a lamb. I was scared and trembled, because he is a psychologist. Not only do you use a surgery knife, Liu Laohan who has lost the high-level danger, even the elevator female ghost with UC of 250, also transferred by the group he wanted. The female ghost in the elevator only had one head left. This scene deeply stimulated to the audience who were watching the live broadcast. Nim's not a perverted psychologist. Why do you hold the grenade with you? Big guy Yankei's eyes suddenly became interested. Wonderful real estate certificate is the obsession of female ghosts. Use this to attract attention. After all, most players are facing ghosts. It's just a short time. He already has the desire to pull Zhao Ai into the guild. Ground. The bomb bullish heads are increasingly earned ugly. Liu Shu stared at Zhou Yi and resentful. Dare you count me? Zazir not answered. He grabbed the female ghost's head and randomly mentioned it. Immediately afterwards I threw it out in the distance. Hey, your head very cute. Say he clapped his hands on it. Just stick to some. Zio took out his rusty operation. Sword female ghost watching the scene. There was great fear in the eyes of poisonous eyes. Do not seek you. The harsh echo kept echoing in the corridor. It does not hurt. Exposing a crazy look. Then slowly peer the surgical knife into the back brain of the female ghost. Soon the female ghost stopped screaming. Ding ding surgery dip infected with the blood of the ghost. What is away? Your soul weapon evolves your attributes to increase. After solving the female ghost, Zai felt comfortable all over. After the increase, his strength also rose to 5 o'clock. At this time, Dede's footsteps came from the distance. Zio slowly turned back together. One appeared in front of only half of the old man in the body. There is still a strange smile on his face. But when I saw Zhou Yi's hand, I was held in my hand. After the terrifying female ghost head, the smile on his face disappeared instantly. Is there any need to help you? Zhou Yi stared at him and asked. Hearing this sentence, the old ghost suddenly fried all over his body. Immediately turn around and run away from here? His grandma. This guy is too scared to know, have to run quickly. Seeing that the ghost turned around and ran away. The number of viewers also from the beginning of 101. Team service. This newcomer is too fierce. Actually scare all the ghosts away. Is this determined to be a psychologist is not a mental illness? Zioei released the head of the female ghost at this time. Power changes from the original 2 to 5. His obvious strength has improved a lot. He feels very good, very epilepsy. Then he went to the lobby on the first floor of the hospital. After finding the required map as expected, I came to the next target security room along the map. Just opened the door of the security room. I found that there are several households displayed inside. I currently need a certificate. Let's tell the news that the dean has died. There is monitoring in the security room. Maybe there will be a printer. The first thing Zhou walked into the security room. Just take out his own surgery knife. Scrolls the corpse on the ground one by one. Then put the flowers in turn. His move makes many people feel cold back. This person has a little psychological disease, right? Yang Kao can understand such behavior, because in the copy of the newcomer, the power of individual ghosts is limited. It is very serious and you will choose to pretend to be dead to steal the player. Although Zhao Ai is doing so is very abnormal, but there is no worries later. Everyone feels makes sense after listening. But this is really a newcomer just entered the game. After all, Zhou came to the table at the beginning, log into the computer and open the webpage to find it, finally found the old news about Juxua Hospital. He took some key pictures, all printed on the paper. After confirming that he was correct, he just wanted to turn around and leave, But I suddenly realized something and returned it again, then take out the operating knife, make up the ghost on the table and make up one by one. Everyone was stunned at the scene when they saw this scene. Unknown reason. I took a breath after doing all of this, self to myself. I said it seems something I have forgotten just now. In this case, you should not live here, right? The perverted psychologist came to a haunted hospital. The ghost inside was frightened for this. 'Cause this crazy man not only kicked the female ghost's head as a ball, he does not let go of the dead body. Take a few knives one by one to give up. After Zai finished all this, I took a sigh of breath and walked to the outside. The corridor at this time is extremely weird, in the cold and humid environment of Xi'an, passionate with abnormal black mist. Ding Ghost, he will create fear to reduce the spiritual value of the player, but it has no effect on you. After seeing the prompt, I thought about it for a while, then I did not hesitate. String into the ghost fog. There are also mysterious low words in the ear. What value do you live? No one in this world loves you. You will die in this game. These low words are for ordinary people, so just mental pollution. But Zai has no movement, because a long time ago, he can hear countless horror low words every day. From the moment I wake up to the moment I fall asleep. Never tranquility. Those voices, far from the low language of the channel now, each one is very malicious. So for Zai here. Instead, it is extremely kind, like returning to my own home. He calmly strolled in the fog, soon came to the end of the corridor. At this time some crying sounds came over. Dingsy line task trigger. Help love to cry ghost to fulfill your wish. Zoe glanced at the prompt above. Suddenly interested. Then he looked for the sound source to find the past, the operating knife also held in the hand. Along the way to room 1007, crying is obviously out of the inside. He tried to rotate the door handle. It was found that it was not locked inside. Outside the live room, the audience was nervous at this moment. I dare not breathe anymore. As long as Zoe opens the door he will die. In just a few seconds they are like a few years. Just when everyone focuses on watching, Zoe released the door handle. He took a few steps back with vigilance. The eyes fell above the door. Dingman is extremely dangerous to destroy. Although displayed data is simple, but is enough for him. He immediately took out his surgical knife. After 2 strokes, I suddenly stabbed into the wooden door. I do not know how many knives have been stabbed after a knife. Hurry up and be played by him. Meldu. The screaming rang from the back of the wooden door. See this scene? Is Nima Newcomer too fierce? I started to worry about the dean. Be careful when you meet after Emid. I think he is a lunatic. The perverted psychologist broke into a haunted hospital. The ghost inside was frightened by him. Not only does it hurt the ghosts of countless people, cannot hurt him. Even the extremely dangerous opening ghost was also stunned by his instantly. After solving the door opening ghost, Zoi stopped the action in his hand. Then you killed the door to open the door. Your soul weapon is enhanced. Hearing the prompt, Azuri glanced at his surgery knife. There is no obvious change in discovery. Obviously the increase in enhancement is very weak, but no matter how young mosquitoes are, there is always better than not. Scarlet blood is constantly leaking out of the door gap. The extremely dangerous words on the data have also been eliminated. Zoe was relieved to push the door and walked in. At this time, the love-crying ghost inside shakes under the corner. Everything that happened just now is in the eyes. Dingai crying ghost intermediate danger. Zio slowly approached the surgical knife. The frightened love-crying ghost screaming immediately. Do not. The invisible sound waves instantly rippled around. This is the most proud attack method for love-crying ghosts. People who like this will definitely be confusing. However, this is for Zhao, who is mental power 101. There is no impact at all. His neck. He walked over. Will he kill the love-crying ghost directly? It is said that love-crying ghosts have other attack methods. Zoe, who came recently, slowly squatted down. He stretched out his hand and touched the other person's head. Others did not expect that there would be such a warm scene. A person who kills decisively. There also a tender side. At this time, a woman shaking the red wine glass in her hand. Start analyzing. His general direction is right. Ghost, again by appeasement. This can establish a trust check with ghosts. The department is for the next completion of the branch task. An important Hongyu goddess is here too. After hearing the sound, I quickly got together. Can the goddess sign a name for me? Goddess, I can help you get a glass. Is the goddess of Hongyu still lack of spare tires? There is no shortage. I do not mind one more. Hongyan frowned slightly. I spit out a word climbing in my mouth. The goddess scolded me. I want to save the recording and go back to listen to it for 10,000 times. Hongyan is too lazy to ignore them. Continue to watch it with interest. The newcomer in the bone area today is really interesting. I just followed another. The live broadcast room of the little fat man comes here. This guy clearance hunter game. It took only 46 minutes. After 3 years of refreshing, no one breakthroughs in the breakthrough. This newcomer named Zai is not easy. So let's see what this branch task is. After being touched at this moment, I love crying ghosts a lot. It puzzled and asked, are not you here to kill me, right? Zazir not answer. Continue to touch its hair loving. This makes love crying more convinced that the other party is not malicious, so I relax my own encounters. I'm so long. Finally someone came to help me. My mother was seriously ill at the beginning. This hospital told me that they could save my mother, but it requires huge medical expenses. Love crying ghost is still telling its story, but it does not know. Zio has clenched the surgical knife in his hand at this moment. The body also adjusted the posture. This posture can be more suitable for strength. After preparing, he suddenly stabbed the sword. The perverted psychologist was trapped in a haunted hospital. The ghost inside was frightened by him to flee crazy, because he can not only kick the female ghost's head as a ball, even the extremely dangerous opening ghost, he was all stunned by him. Look at the love-crying ghost in front of you. At this time, I have completely relaxed their vigilance. Zio's mouth began to rise slightly. Really, this posture is just suitable for force. Thinking at this point, he suddenly raised his arm, instantly destroyed the opponent's neck. Love-crying ghost dare not believe on the spot. Pyropyramid splashed out of the scarlet blood. Zioi did not stop the action in his hand. A few knives were added to the head of the love-crying ghost instantly. Until the other party lost his breath completely, he only relaxed and breathed a breath. Everyone outside the live room, Zioya's move again shattered the three views. I'm numb. There is no way to complete his branch mission. The goddess analyzes the goddess. This guy does not play cards at all. Zioi is too lazy to care about what others think. Love-crying ghost is the ultimate danger. This means it also has some kind of there are obvious lethality on yourself. In order to ensure safety or kill it directly, it is wonderful. Get the diary that loves crying and crying ghosts? He looked at the content in the diary, and it also came out. Before taking care of my mother, I fell asleep at night. It's all diligent this month. The editor said he could not help it either. Hope to be given early, momly enough surgical fee. It has been raining more than 10 days on December 17th. There are water everywhere in the town. I took the takeaway today and fell down. Today's money is gone. 3 consecutive months on February 9th. Do it takeaway cannot do it anymore. Mother's illness has deteriorated again. What do? Thunderstorm on March 18th. What happened to the town in the town? How could I suddenly become like this? The street is so empty. Where do people go? There's no useful information from above. Wait, he suddenly thought of a sentence in the diary. I hope to give my mother a surgery fee early. Maternal surgery. Zioi murmured a few times and turned to leave the room. Everyone outside the live room is very puzzled. Why did he go in other directions again? There is an ordinary ward over there, not the dean's office. What is he doing? Are you exploring the map? Just when everyone speculates, Big Brother Zhang Qiao gave the answer. He is excluding love-crying ghosts many times mentioned serious illness in mother. Explain that the branch task is related to its mother, so just find the mother who loves crying ghosts. You can continue the branch task. There was a sound on the humid floor. When Zioi passed by a ward, stop. Finally found. The perverted psychologist came to a haunted hospital. The ghost inside was frightened by him to flee crazy. Not only is it extremely dangerous to open the door, the sparse breeze by him, even the innocent love-crying ghost, also transferred by the group he wanted. After solving the love-crying ghost in one sword, he came to the door of a ward according to the map. The door was slowly pushed away. Zioi stepped in a lot. There's only one female ghost in this ward. Obviously it is the mother who loves crying ghosts. Now has found the goal. Just interact with the goal next. You can set up useful messages to continue the branch task. At time of everyone's discussion, Zioi asked hello with a smile politely. You Axiao's mother? Oh, is the falling money of crying ghosts in the diary. Female ghosts around the vitality around. She turned her head and showed a smile of death. Then I said a few words intermittently. Aya's mother. What'd he do? Zioi heard an excited expression on this face appearing. Gray, I finally found you. Taste. Is your husband or loved ones in the hospital? I answered out without a female ghost silently. What are you looking for me? At the same time, his hair started to grow strangely. It extends like a ghost to the door. Obviously I want to leave the other party. Just not. Zioi was relieved after hearing it a lot, so I do not need to run around again everywhere. It's troublesome to run around to find someone. When the words fell, he pulled out the grenade and lost it directly. After watching the female ghost, she suddenly stunned on the spot. The reaction is too late to throw away. Zioi waved his hand and quickly walked to the outside. At the moment of closing the door, the huge fire rose suddenly. The whole building is shaking. Everyone in the Wheezy live room is aggressive. Yang Tao, who also predicted Zoi's action just now, suddenly embarrassed. As the smoke slowly dissipates, Zioi pushed open the door again and walked in. The female ghost on the sickbed has been blown into a fly ash. There is also a wolf burrowing around. Everyone saw the scene a bit cool back. What do you say? Normal person. Should not you try to put out the information of a female ghost? Continue to complete the branch mission? When he met well, he gave a grenade. I also asked the other party if there is a family member. Obviously, I went to the murderer and went to the family. Yang Tao analyzed Zuyu's thought again. This newcomer is terrible. The belonging to the brain is a bit abnormal. This hospital is so big that it is easy to find him. In order to prevent family members who love crying ghosts, he actually took the initiative to attack the murderer. Is this person a psychologist or a mental illness? Now I can finally go to the dean's office with peace of mind. Zero murmured and turned to the top of the building. The nearby ghost all hid. I'm afraid Zoe kicks open his door. After looking for it, he came to the door of the dean. I felt the death of death before entering the door. Through the broken glass, I found that there was a body that fell in the air. Ding Jingxing Hospital Dean is extremely dangerous. Do not try to confront him positively. After seeing these data, Zha thought about it for a while. Then I took out the printed paper. Cannot you confront it positively? Then this is the case. The perverted psychologist was trapped in a haunted hospital. The ghost inside was frightened by him. After solving a series of dangerous evil spirits, Zhou Yi finally came to the door of Dean Boss. Have not entered the door yet. He has already felt a death of death. Ding Ding Jingxing Hospital Dean is extremely dangerous. Do not try to confront him positively. After seeing Zhao, I thought about it for a while, then take it out of the pocket before printed paper, then find a pen again. After doing all of this, he directly pasted on his face with a transparent tape. The door bange was opened by the side. As Zhou Yi suddenly felt the crisis of death. At this time, the dean roared and turned to stare at him. A pair of pounds. I held Zhao Yi's neck in an instant. Then he lifted him up high. This shot too fast. There is no chance to resist at all. The dean's mouth cracked to the root of the ears. If you open the blood basin, you will swallow the other party directly. At this time he is inevitable. Saw the paper on Zhu's face. Above, there are several texts and images that are specially outlined. All personnel die is not good at. After seeing these, the dean seemed to be recalled. The strength of holding Zhou Yi's neck is also rapidly weakening. I'm dead. I'm dead. Impossible. The dean is gradually crazy in the murmur. At this time, Zhou Yi took out his soul weapon surgery knife. With thunder, it is too late to cover up the ears. The fastest knife in life is used. Directly stabbed the dean's eyebrow heart. Zhou, who finished all this. The wolf's criminals fell back to the ground. Didn't you kill the copy boss? Soul weapons are enhanced. Properties get a small increase. After the increase, his power has also changed from the original 5. At this time, everyone who admires the lives outside the live broadcast room. Why did he kill the boss so simple? Because absorbing the hatred on Lega. Conflict damage ignores resistance, ignores the damage, ignore the damage, ignore the damage. Desolation will inevitably cause full damage to all units. Is chaotic damage a certain advanced attribute? Zhou Yi secretly remembered this special attribute. He looked at the dean who was still shaking around. Surgery. Pull out from the opponent's forehead. After solving the dean, he rolled up in the office. Judging from the diary of Love Crying Ghost, this town has encountered the invasion of mysterious power. That dean is such an important boss. There should always be some special information, right? The abnormal doctor came to a haunted hospital. The ghost inside was frightened by him to flee crazy. Not only the ultimate dangerous crying ghost, turned by the group he wants, even the extremely terrible dean, also stabbed by him. After solving the boss dean, Zhou Yi turned around in the office. Records on the crying ghost diary? Let him have some interest in this world. Jiaxu Hospital in town. Obviously the invasion of what mysterious power has encountered, only then will it be difficult to say now. In the future he will not enter this copy again, so there's a chance now. He still wants to explore first. In the drawer he found the access card and a letter. He took out the access card and put it in his pocket, then opened the letter and checked it. Tone also revealed a sense of urgency. Old Shinai contacted the authorities. Bai the guards on the town. Gul is not safe. The station in Nanzemen. There is a black truck waiting for you. Late. Fear of change. The letter is sent from the outside. The other party is obviously clear what happened to Guxuan town, but things are still out of his expected. Finally died in the hospital. There are dark shadows around you cannot understand the body and facial features. He walked carefully through the black shadow, come to the most peripheral fence. I do not know when a sudden appeared in front of it. Strange human figure. The other party cannot move back to him. At the same time Zai also appeared in front of Zhou Yi's eyes. After seeing the date of the prompt, cold sweat in the instant. Name is unknown, extremely dangerous. Do not let him leave your sight. Otherwise horror will happen. Whether it is the data in front of you or physical instinct. Tell him. This thing. It's not that you can fight now. Is there a hidden boss? Zhou Yi took out his own surgery knife. Then move your hands and pinch your feet carefully. Afraid of disturbing each other, he stared at the distorted figure. Do not dare to relax. After bypassing the figure he successfully swiped the access card. Dripping, the rusty iron door made a harsh friction sound, just like a machine that has not been operated for hundreds of years. Zhou Yi stared at the figure slowly and retreated to the iron gate. I cannot see anything clearly outside. Obvious. This novice copy does not want to disclose more information. After Zhou Yi closed the iron gate lightly, just a little back to the dense fog, Din Din cut. Now start transmission. With the prompt sound he finally relieved. Then the dense fog completely covered Zhou Yi's body. He also disappeared into this thick fog. After Zhou left, the twisted figure finally moved. He was like a puppet body. Suddenly raised my head. Watching Zhou Yi disappeared coldly. The perverted man came to a haunted hospital. The ghost inside was frightened by him to flee crazy. After a series of events and resolved the dean. He finally completed the copy and was sent out. Congratulations to player Zhou. The main task escapes from Jiaxu Hospital to complete. The wish of the branch task failed to love the crying ghost. Plot exploration 88. Get reward 25 experience. Get the real estate certificate of Lalahan. Get the title Goes to See Sorrow. With the prompt sound, the sound continuously sounds. The crowd outside the live room was instantly restless. Unexpectedly a new. It will actually be in the difficulty of hell. Zhou Yi's face is still very bland. After rewarding the account, his level also reached level 2. At this time, he returned to the safe area of the safe area, the so-called security zone, not a real area in a traditional sense, is a virtual platform. Here you can watch the player's live broadcast. You can also trade with each other and exchange copy experience or some difficult problems and experience. Gang opened his own information bar. 2 options popped above. 1. Please select the union you want to join. He did not worry about making a choice. Still understand the basic situation before deciding. The prompt applied for a friend is full. Many people's names are noble golden color. The players next to them saw a breath of cold breath. I go to buddy, which fairy are you? So many guilds invite you to join. After seeing Zoe's blank appearance, those big guilds almost do not accept newcomers. It is too much an exception to send you an invitation. As long as you join the Great Union, you can have a variety of rich resources, quickly push the world task, greatly improve the survival rate in this game. Zoe wrapped his hand after hearing it. It means that I am not interested in these temporarily. Then he opened them all to observe. There are many items above, and also the mysterious potion that improves your own. Per piece, below is marked with the points required to buy. The way to get points is to play a copy. 15 Zoe then opened the ranking again. The rankings have 5 meters in total. They are newcomers to level rich famous shocks. He is currently relying on this as score. Rest the ranks of newcomers rankings. He also browsed the other rankings. After understanding the general situation, Zoe inquired about the guild. It turns out that the player is entering the game. It is dangerous, barren, and desolate. Players want to cope with various dangers. The best way to survive is to join the union. Action with your teammates. After watching it, he carefully checked the current world map that has been developed. It is found that it is where the mixed union is located, close to Millie area, the small town mentioned in the letter of the director of Juxiang Hospital. Zioyu was interested in the light in front of this. After Weird coming to the world, Men won the list of newcomers among tens of millions, but he has highly anticipated him, actually rejected the invitation of the top guild. Instead, shortly after Zui's click to apply, the other party comes to reply, "We're the garbage union? No resources." After Zhou, a smile appeared at the corner of the mouth. "I do not care about this at all. He is just interested in Guxuan Town." At the same far corner area on the world map, in a dilapidated apartment building, a woman with an enchanting attitude. "I'm staring at the information in front of you. Really interesting. This year's newcomer list. Actual firmly to join our guild." Speak. A middle-aged man wearing a robe next to him. "Blessing. This guy. Did not I receive an invitation from several top-level unions? It's still too bad for the newcomers in this session. Cannot let those old ghosts be tempted." Woman picks up her hair in lazy opening. A copy of the regional difficulty in Juxiang Hospital. Newcomers score its scores. "You said?" "I heard a hint of home in the eyes of the old Taoist priest. Then why did he choose our guild?" The woman then told Zoe's reply. "He said he was very interested in Guk Swanjan. Uncle Quan gives some opinions." Hearing this, middle-aged people called Uncle Quan. "Combine the books in your hand. Gutai Town seems to be related to our world tasks, right? You guys do not do every day and world tasks every day. Just now to kill. After so long the union was still like this bird. Newcomers are almost running out." Women laughed after listening. "Is not this learned from you? The upper beam is not right, the lower beam is crooked. Do not throw the pot for us." Uncle Quan heard a little embarrassment and let him come in. "Rare and new. If you want to come, we will remember that you can never bully newcomers." After listening, a woman licks her lips. There is also a touch of light in the eyes. Actually, when the system's prompt pops up, everyone is blindfolded. They do not understand Zayu's choice. Is not it good to go with a good card? You have to go to such a garbage guild. It's a pity that this guy. At this time in the abandoned city of messy streets, somewhere in a luxurious building, Yang Tao is carefully looking at Zhou Ai's information. Actually joined the union that was all mixed. This newcomer is really unusual. Just as he thought, a professional woman knocked on the door and walked in. "Vice Chairman." Someone dug out the information of Zai's original world. "The information has been uploaded to the Yandi camp. This is the original file, please go through." Yang Tao took the information and browsed quickly. Then he asked in doubt that he was famous in the industry. Woman answers, "He has cured nearly 1,000 severe psychological disease patients, and completely cured. No sequelae. Whether the people of depression or violence, psychological severe distorted morbidity, whenever he can heal through his hands." But the strange thing is, the patient he was cured, all forgotten the treatment process. The memory related to the treatment has also disappeared mysteriously. So there is generally no one in the industry who calls his real name, but give him a special nickname. Forgotten Angel. After the weird world comes, men killed the list of newcomers among tens of millions, but he has highly anticipated him, but rejected the invitation of the top guild. Instead, it's all the guilds of the mixer. In the corner area of the world map, it is also the poorest, cold, and dangerous place. Izir. Just see a sexy beauty standing at the door. "Is this all the sites of the mixed substance?" Ziri curiously asked for the initiative. After listening, a woman took off her sunglasses. "What are we like mixed? By the way, I have not told you. My name is Liu Ruking, is the auditor of the guild. You can call me Sister Liu." Liu Ruodian said while turning around and walking in the building. "Sister takes you to see other mixed men in the guild." When Zhao heard it, he followed and followed. When Li Ruking pushed away the shabby door, everyone's eyes in the hall looked over. Many people have a weird smile on their faces. Lu Ru is start introduced. Black frame glasses men are our union chairman. You can call him Uncle Quan. The beauty of the iceberg is Meng Jiao, our vice president. Try not to chat with her. She would not take care of you. As for the damn god stick, the priest named Zhang Yan. The favorite is the pit and abduction. You are careful not to be fooled by him. Hearing this, Zhang Yan's head was full of black lines immediately began to debate. Lu Ruking Dali I go to astronomy and understand geography. Fortune telling the hexagram never receives one more article. Why is it a god stick? He said he squeezed to Xiao's side while he said, come here, I arranged the room for you. We usually live on the top floor of the 7th floor. Newcomer lives 1, 2, and 3 floors. Your room number is 404 Old Road. I will apply for you for your application. Gili's After hearing it, Zhao quickly nodded and thanked. Zhang Yan he smiles. Okay, it's okay. Come here as a family. Can kill a newcomer list among tens of millions. We are very optimistic about you. Lu Ruking shook his head. Do not pimp. I take it the dormitory. Then she took the initiative to go to the stairs. Soon the room door of the room of 404. After binding with the room, this room is your safe room afterwards. Except for you, others cannot enter. Lu Ruking said that Zhao Yai stood at the door. At this time, a blue light shot from the cat's eyes. Ding's soul information collection is complete. Then the door opened slowly. The scene in it is also seen. Very clean and tidy independent bathroom. Hot water supply 24 hours of supply. But food and water. Go to the waste railway station 2 kilometers away. Lu Ruking said that there was a touch of light in this eyes. It takes at least 3 levels to enter. Your level is not enough. Sister, I can provide you with some. After hearing it, Zhao nodded quickly and applied to Sister Liu. You're welcome. Lu Ruyan waved his hand and turned around and left to leave. Come to the living room tomorrow night. Sister I and you just entered the newcomer. Roughly talk about the process of Hell Game. Oh, and what she suddenly thought of, then add to the apartment. Do not explore for the time being. If you are not safe, you will twist your waist and walk out. At the same in the guild of the corner camp, Yang Tao was silent for a long time after getting Xiaoyi's information, then arranged a woman to call the man Magic Bar. Hearing this, the woman is a little hesitant. Vice President, kill the players. Now because the killing value is too high, I was locked into the killing battlefield. You can come out in 3 days. Yang Tao watched the calendar next to her eyes. I still have time. Can wait. Men were forcibly pulled into the weird world. An excellent completion task. List in tens of millions of people in the median. But he has highly anticipated him. But I chose a guild with all mixed seeds. After he came to the guild, he rested for 1 night. All newcomers who just joined the next day. I was called in the hall. Zuai also came here wearing a robe. Uncle Quan's eyes swept through the audience. Start introduced. Everyone is here. Simply say a few words. I am all the president. You can call me uncle. The world we are now is a world of chaotic laws. Name of. Here's very dangerous. Only the building the guild is absolutely safe. As a hell gameplay, there are 2 tasks in total to be completed. It is a copy task, the other is the big world task. The copy task must be completed once a month, up to, and is worth mentioning, you are likely to match other players. In the same, killing the more disaster is a common thing, so do not believe anyone easily. In addition, after you enter the copy, there will be your live broadcast room of Yandi Camp, Homer as much as possible. Attract more audiences to become your fans. At the end of the live broadcast, popularity and gifts will be converted into extra points for you, although not a lot, but let some big guilds notice you. Will be more convenient to change jobs in the future. Everyone heard that there are some doubts. How can it be convenient to change jobs? It seems that he has roots. I do not care about the newcomers in the guild and cannot leave. Uncle Quan. Continue. As for the world task, it is simpler. Your system is presented. Just interested in doing it. Do not do if you are not interested or afraid. The guild is not forced. Do you still have any questions now? Many newcomers are scrambled to give up when many newcomers fall. Want to ask questions? Uncle Quan sought a little speechless. He helped a pair of glasses and got up and left here. Since everyone is fine, let's break up. Seeing this in the case of raising their hands, suddenly aggressive on the spot, is the old man the WC Guild so responsible? Why is there a feeling of getting a thief boat? If you want to apply for a mixed son, do not blame others. My team applied for this guild. Only with. Zoe was sitting alone on the sofa and thinking. Actually, everything about the game can be found in the system. They do not talk about the difference between Shigong. What makes him speechless? The mixed men in this guild are too bad. Not even The world task has never been moved. This will have been established for 2 years and stayed on the guidance task, but this is actually fine. You can experience the direction of the plot from the beginning. See clearly what happened to Guhuang Town in the past. Then Zai opened the world task. The first one that refers to is to guide tasks. Task target: go to the railway station to collect food and water. Recommended level 1 3 task reward 2 free point introduction. You suddenly wake up. I found that I am in the terrible forever night, and your goal is to get out of trouble and leave this place. But before that, you need to find a way to live. A map is added. Zhao took a look at the map. I found that this apartment is only 2 kilometers away from the abandoned station. Although the distance is not long, 80% in the station are shadows. Explain that these areas have nothing to do with tasks. The danger that is likely will exceed level 1-3. Anyway, there are still many food in the warehouse stored in the guild. Eat temporarily. The most tight now. Still quickly improve your level and points. Then go to the mall to redeem the need to. Think of this. He clicked on the copy of the system panel. He successfully. A copy of the strange school shock. Mainline mission reward 75 experience value. Line task reward for dead dolls. Difficult hell. Brief introduction. However, after a period of time in school, what is the right place for this school? Then a white light flashed. Shishi University classroom. A girl slowly opened her eyes. After she entered this copy, the popularity in the live broadcast room is fast. What a nice. The popularity of beauty is high, although I only experienced 4 copies. After Yang Linlin opened the system interface, the complexion is pale instantly. Hell difficulty. Why are you so unlucky yourself? Is this the 4th copy? I encountered the difficulty of hell. The previous copy is ordinary difficulty. It's almost tortured me to death. What should I do if the difficulty of hell this time? The more she wants to get a headache. A total of 25 life. The previous copy died 3 times and deducted 15 o'clock. There are 0 points left now. If you die again, it will only be 5 o'clock. Then the pressure of entering the copy is too great next time. After all, once the life is worth clearing in the copy, we'll die complete. I could not help but be scared after I could not help but start. By the way, there are teammates. Woolen cloth. She suddenly stood up and scanned the audience. Look at my teammates. Maybe which is more powerful. After a moment, she was very disappointed. I saw in the crowd, there were labels appearing on the head of 3 people, but this brother Ren is lower than her level. Yang Linlin's paralysis was weak and sat back on the stool. After finishing, the 3 of them are new and unspoken. They can no longer be new. Cannot expect it all. Are we really going to give it in vain today? Especially the one named Zoyai is still looking around. Forget it, you have to rely on yourself. Scene time is now lunch break. Not accidental. Words. There are 10 minutes from the first lesson in the afternoon. Take advantage of this time. Exchange information with them. So Yang Linlin, shouting the 3 on the playground, because she has the highest level, so it is natural to become the captain. Listen to us now. Unprecedented difficulties and dangers. The next 7 days, we have to work hard and combine. Is possible to survive? Do you think of this copy? Hearing this, Jin Tao and Lu Bai shook their heads helplessly. There is no information at all when I just entered the game. There is a hairy view. It's almost eye-bringing 2 eyes. And Zaya looked at the nearby classroom, discovered a strange. The classroom on the first floor is not full. There are about 46 seats in a classroom. However, the number of people in the classroom does not exceed 23. Very interesting phenomena. But what does he indicate? 4 rookies were trapped in a haunted ghost school with difficulty in hell. Not only do they have to break the curse and get the doll for death, I still have to choose to live here for 7 days later. But this is obvious. They are not new to the novice period. Yang Linlin, the highest level, pull the 3 people to discuss countermeasures in a hurry. Zento and Lu Bei helplessly spread their hands. Yang Linlin immediately looked at the alert Zhao. Ask him if he thinks. The name Zoe seems to have seen it. Zentao could not help but murmur. Then he suddenly picked up something and seemed to have thought about it. Are you one? Place as in the difficulty of hell difficulty. Newcomer list. The other 2 were suddenly stunned on the spot after listening. Newcomer ranking list. This is the thighs killed among tens of millions. Looking at the 3 people staring at themselves with hot eyes, Zoe immediately asked them a question. Do you remember your seat? Yang Linlin's excited answer, remember? What is the other party as his life-saving straw? Zazir not answered. Instead, I turned my head and looked at the classroom. I'm going back to class. If no, today we should die in our classroom. By the way, remember to sit in your own place. Do not sit wrong. Hearing this, the 3 of them instantly creepy. Yang Linlin found that Jintao's face was very poor. Ask going on. Jintao's intermittent opening. I seem to forget my seat. Is it important for Brother Zhou? After hearing it, Xiao turned his head and looked at him. I'm not sure if there is danger in other positions, but our birth point is short. It must be safe within time. If you cannot remember, think back to the reference you remember. At this time, a large number of audiences have poured into the live broadcast room, which is a copy of the copy room with difficulty in hell. Zero is really old and unlucky. It's a pity that leaving the newcomer recommendation platform, Brother Zoe's heat is gone. Pull down, which newcomer has this popularity as soon as he enters the game? How this time it depends on how he died. Class bell. Let's go. When you said a few people, he immediately rushed back to the classroom. Lila follows the order of a boy. Everyone stands up, ready to welcome the teacher's arrival. Zioi glanced at the people around. His pupil Milk appeared again with scarlet data. This classroom is all ghosts. No one except your teammates. Fortunately, all shows are neutral units. Will not attack other people inexplicably. The back door was pushed away for a moment. Women wearing professional clothes came in. Today we are conducting mathematics test. With her words fell. The surrounding ghosts are afraid of shaking. Ding female teacher trigger neutral. When not triggered its hunter conditions, the unit has always maintained a neutral state. After triggering the hunter condition, the unit's strength will skyrocket. Recovery after killing the goal. Zirai could not help but frown when he saw this. Triggers neutral. Is this trigger point related to the test paper in her hand? Still related to their seats? Or both of them have something to do with? Men were forcibly pulled into the horrible strange school, except for him and 3 teammates. The rest of the students are ghosts, and they have to try their best to live here for 7 days. With the horrible female classroom entered the venue, the atmosphere suddenly became extremely depressed. Now start issuing test paper. Say her eyes swept coldly to everyone. The test time is 50 minutes. During the period, you are not allowed to move your noise. After she finished this sentence, Zoe obviously noticed the fat ghost in the front row, constantly trembling. But what is he afraid of? The female teacher then started issuing a test paper, from the first to the last one. Even if no one is empty, put one. Have you glanced a seat closer to yourself? I found that the test paper above has no words at all. Very good all. That can only be like this. He then quickly wrote his name and school number. The remaining options are given to rubber rubbing. There are even ghosts who directly ask about their own table. Is your title the same as mine? I have been carefully checking the students in the classroom on the podium. Is the trigger condition that has nothing to do with the discipline of the test room, but the classmate in front seemed to be trembling even more powerful. At this point, Yang Linlin turned to look at him. When the newcomer rankings are the first, she has pinned her hopes on the other party. Because they can kill the first person from tens of millions, it is impossible. He must have an unusual ability. See what he is doing. Such a simple question cannot be, do you still need to rely on throwing rubber to determine the option? Yang Linlin saw this and her heart began to fall in love again. Suddenly the voice of a female teacher was uploaded on the podium. Do not look around. With the words fall, for a while, the bitter chill is instantly filled in every corner. All students dare not take any small movements. Zui also counted his fingers seriously. 1 by 1, 1, 2, 3, 7, 24, 4th, 4, 28. Soon he finished all the questions on the paper. At this time, the female teacher also started the proctor patrol. Blood-stained axe slowly pulled out. Her face also started to tear. How? Let me see what students will be punished. Men were forcibly pulled into the horrible and weird school. Here, except the 3 companions are ghosts. What is even more terrible is female teacher in the classroom. Monitoring? What is used as an axe covered with scarlet blood? Let me see which classmates will be punished. The female teacher said that she would patrol the axe. When she was passing by Zhentao's side, she stopped. The moment of the moment under Zhentao is upright. I dare not come out when I tremble. At this moment, his heart is like a Malaysian Pentium. The shadow of the axe is just mapped on the test paper. It is Ina's pen. The whole person is in a tight state. The heart mentioned the throat at this time. He dare not look back and dare not make any sound. Did I sit in the wrong position? Not. I do not remember the stationery on this table. Please. Please do not kill me. He collapsed inside. The whole person's fear is like the soul out of the soul. The mental force is falling at a speed of 3 points per second. Everyone outside the live room understands the situation. This kid is... It is estimated that the first day will not last. Yanglin was afraid. The mental power is also falling. Some admirers are worried about it. But Zoe's side is completely different. He does not seem to have been affected by any. Is he a monster? The spiritual power is still 10? I admire the psychological quality. But I just looked at his paper just now. None of the questions answered. Zhentao's mental strength continues to fall. It quickly fell below 50. At this time, the female teacher suddenly left him. Seeing this, Zhentao finally relieved, polarized on the table. Immediately after the female teacher came to Zioe. A sense of compression strikes. Zioe seems to feel a strong intention. He raised his head. The harmless smile of humans and animals looked at the female teacher. Ding ding, exclusive reminder, female teacher trigger neutral. I've made it like this, she is still neutral. It seems to disrupt the test room discipline. It really cannot trigger her killing. So even if she wants to kill people very much, but as long as there is no trigger condition, she cannot. Zio Yisi has understood a little now. From a certain perspective, instead the female teacher is in this classroom, the safest goes, but now it's safe. It may not mean that it will be safe in the future. Hesitate. Touch the surgical knife in the pocket. Cannot be sure if you can kill this female ghost. See what I... Now it's the exam and do not hurry to do the questions. The female ghost stared at Xiaoyu with the axe, and Xiaoyu decided to endure first. What are you watching? Is there anything on my face? At the same time as the female teacher speaks, it is closer. The horrible mouth of the healing is cracked directly to the root of the ear. The tongue with stinky sleeping fluid suddenly stretched out a long time. Zio saw his frown slightly frowning, but he quickly recovered his usual expression. Without me, I just think you are pretty good. You are pretty good. I met a female ghost who was killed just now. It's rotten on the face. Give me a great trauma for my young heart. Hearing the other party to boast of yourself, the face value of the female teacher returned to its peak at once, and show a surprise and shy look. Is the teacher really good looking? No, it's the test time now. Give me less almost. Hurry up, say she raised her pale and cold hand. Press it on Zoe's head. At this time, the fat ghost in the front seat, the body shakes like a sieve. Do not kill me in my mouth. From the beginning he was suppressing his fear. This scene immediately aroused the attention of female teachers, meaning her instantly stretched her neck and approached her eyes. At the same time stared at the other party coldly. Men were trapped in horrible ghost schools. Except for the 3 companions, all of them are ghosts. The most terrible thing is, female teachers in the classroom monitoring. If you say a word, you will raise the axe in your hand to cut people. Just when Zoe was pressed by her head to force the problem. Suddenly scared that he was trembling, the female teacher stretched his neck and stared at him. The axe in my hand also started for the first time. Fat ghosts suddenly fry the hair all over the body, kneeling on the ground immediately begging for mercy. The teacher gives me another chance. Please cry with the legs of a female teacher, crying and crying. I promise that I will never commit it again next time. Before the words, the axe of the female teacher has already waved. The bloody blood splashed everywhere as everywhere. Roundhead. Zoe saw this scene slightly a few seconds of gods, then slowly stretched out his legs. Blame the head directly kicked the head out. It just rolled down on Zentao's table for a second. In contrast, Zentao was instantly frightened and frequent diabetes. He has not eased from the fears of the female teacher. Look up. The foam immediately on the table and fainted on the table. The audience outside the live room laughed crazy. Only Zento is beat. I'm afraid there's no chance to die. Directly as a copy monster. At this time, the female teacher who has solved the fat ghost turned around again, staring coldly at Zio. Zio did not hesitate, immediately got up and gave her the test paper to her. The female teacher then took the paper. Then he wielded his arms to indicate that he went out. I will cancel your test qualification. After hearing it, Zhao he smiled quickly. A response to Yang Linlin looked at the back of his departure is extremely different. Is this like... After walking out of the classroom, the smile on Zia's face disappeared instantly. I probably understand some... After 40 minutes the exam is over. Several people have gathered together. Yang Lin feels helpless. How to say this is the difficulty of hell? Can we be more stable? Liu Bei also attached to the road. Your behavior just now is too dangerous. Almost scared Genta. Zio explained with a smile when he heard it. I just try that teacher. It turns out that as long as it does not trigger the death point, then this female ghost's tolerance for us, it is very... This sentence immediately attracted the attention of the three. Brother, please say it carefully. Zio then looked around. After confirming no one, I whisper my own analysis. Have you found it? That female ghost kills is ruled. What are the rules for a few people to hear this? Is not it randomly extracted a lucky and beheaded head? See them like this confused look? Zio Yu waved his hand and went to the playground with me. The vision is wide there. A noon lunch break. I observed a total of 8 classes. Look at it carefully. The number of people in each class in the teaching building, no more than half of the seat, and the less people who go forward, the less. I went to the second floor to check it out just now. It is found that the situation on the second floor is exactly the same as the first floor, and our class is the best classroom on the third floor. A lot of seats have been empty, but there are no fewer people on the other classroom on the third floor. Yang Linlin was even more puzzled when she heard this. What does this show? Is Zio frowned slightly if the death of the classmate is caused by a curse, then the curse spread from the first floor, like a class infection with a virus, now just spread to our class. This curse creates a certain rule, and as long as people who violate this rule will die, is that the rule is related to test discipline. Zentao and Liu Bei hugged them in fear. Zioye paused and continued to talk about it. You think about it. I just made a loud noise. Kicked the head of the classmate in front of me. It must have disrupted the order of the examination room. But even if this monitoring did not do anything to me, instead the little fat man in front of me inexplicably cut the head. So he must have done a triggering point of death. They're also dead classmates. It should be done all the same thing. If you are careful enough, we'll discover. The test papers and draft paper on the empty seat are blank. The papers of a small number of students are also blank. Yang Lilin seemed to understand this. I've noticed this too. Finally, these test papers blank students, both are solved by female teachers. 7 people in total. Is that blank test papers be the trigger point of death? After hearing it, Xiao shook his head and it should not be so simple. The test paper is not a dead end of death. Judging from the situation of my previous copy, even a copy of hell difficulty. It's just to complete the main line. It will never be too difficult. Really difficult place. It is a worldview of exploring the hidden tasks of the branch mission. So the main task of this copy will not be difficult. Zenta's lips are white. You said so much with the crying cavity. Tell us direct. What is the starting point of death? I do not want to die. I really want to leave this place quickly. A little embarrassed. At present, I do not know what the point of death trigger is. But it should also be related to the test paper. And one thing I have to tell you in advance. Speaking of this, his eyes. Noksha. This school is likely to have only 4 of us are living people. The others are ghosts. Men were trapped in horrible and weird schools. The other 3 companions here are all ghosts. Not only did they find a way to live until 7 days, you also need to complete the task to get a doll for death. I experienced a cruel exam as soon as I entered here. Although, several people survived from the female teacher safely, but they are still unclear about the rules here. If you are not careful, you will die. Especially learn from Zhao Yai's mouth. Only the 4 of them are living people. Zento was so scared that her legs almost fainted. Seeing this scene is a little speechless. Yang Lilin helplessly asked what to do next. This copy time is not compact enough. The rhythm also seems very loose. Cannot start. Zero Iwan set his eyes to look at the classroom in the distance. Answer waiting to be dark, but why wait until dark? Liu Bai is... After hearing it, Xiao turned his head and looked at him. Then you think is our current student status. Do you have extra time to check the information you want during the day? Yang Linlin feels very reasonable to be the list. Really something. Let's come out for a time and place tonight. Subsequently, several people set the time to the gazebo after 12 o'clock. Meet. Zentao, who woke up at this time, raised a trembling hand. I put him out. Can I not? I'm afraid of hitting ghosts. Zhou nodded and answered, of course. But I want to remind you in advance. You alone at night, if you hear or see what you see, do not call loudly. No one will help you, because we are not here. Zintao heard this scared suddenly. My brother, I went. Can I? Have self-study ends. Students have returned to the dormitory one after another. Zioi also followed his own room. He pushed open the door. I was surprised to find that the conditions for this dormitory are not bad. Although it's a bit crowded, it's clean and tidy. As Zioi out on the bed, there's a prompt in the ear. You who are mentally tight for a day. Back to the dormitory and finally relieved. So you start to be sleepy. And soon entered the dream hometown that might not be sweet. As this sound falls, he seems to be hypnotized by a mysterious power. Fell asleep. I do not know how long the time has passed. Zioya, who was sleeping, opened his eyes suddenly. The dormitory at this time is empty. The whole dormitory building is the only one. Zioya suddenly had a bad hunch. It seems something wrong. Check the time on the phone. I found only 3 minutes left from the agreed time. So he hurried to the agreed location quickly. The surrounding scene has changed greatly at this time. The wall skin has descended and exposed the decaying mildew. The desolate and dilapidated seem to be extremely small. Yang Linlin's nervous step back and forth. After seeing Zoya, she was finally relieved. Are you yourself? What about them? Zoe answered and did not see it. Everyone disappeared. I even thought you were gone. Yang Linlin was a little worried after hearing. Are they already killed? After hearing it, Zhao comforted her, so do not think about it. We should no one currently trigger the death point. They are mostly alive. Judgment from the surrounding scenes. We are likely to enter the place similar to the world, but this is also a good thing. Let's go and see what the current teaching building is like. Yang Linlin responded quickly and followed behind. Only when you do not leave Zoe can he have a sense of security. The scope of the teaching building just came to the teaching building. A dark shadow suddenly appeared in front. In the shadow, a pair of scarlet eyes seemed to be staring at them. Yang Linlin asked what it was. Zoe answered himself and did not know. Tao is not human anyway. If he said he walked towards the dark shadow. Yang Linlin quickly stepped forward and held him. Do you know if you are not a person, do you still do not die? Zhe explained immediately. If it is a neutral unit, it may help us collect information. Yang Linlin asked. If not. After hearing it, he showed a meaningful smile. Then I took out my own surgery knife. If not, turn into a neutral unit. Yang Linlin heard a little speechless. At this moment, she felt that the other party was more scary than a ghost. The audience outside the live room was boiling at this time. Zioi stepped towards the dark shadow with the operating knife. After seeing him coming to see him from the original free state, suddenly a few seconds. Immediately afterwards, I ran into the teaching building. Too far. I have not had time to launch the skills to see the prompt clearly. Do not leave. Let's talk. He said. He immediately speeded up and chased the past. There was a strange shadow in front of the man, but he's not only afraid, still walking directly with the operating knife. Seeing men's fierce look, the group of ghosts frightened immediately began to flee crazy. Zioi saw it and mentioned the operating knife closely behind. Run all the way along the black lacquer stairs. Yang Linlin quickly followed up after he passed away. You've been so brave. At this time she is very speechless. Nozi answered. In fact, I have always been cautious. Be cautious? Today you are in front of the monitoring female ghost. Disrupt the examination discipline. Hearing her vomiting, Zioji's explanation also explained. That's because I have 100% grasp. Female ghost would not do it at me. Did not you take a serious look at the exam this afternoon exam? Several classmates checked under the eyelids of the proctor teacher. I just wanted. This shows that the discipline of the test room is destroyed. Violation of examination rules will not trigger death forbidden system. Yang Linlin heard this for a while. I really did not pay attention to this. At this time, Ye's footsteps suddenly stopped. She did not respond and she hit it up. Why did not you stop and say hello? Yang Linlin just said half of his words. Just see Zioi's gesture of making a voice. I realized that she quickly covered her mouth. I do not see well in the darkness. Carefully came to the door of a classroom. See quietly across the glass and looked inside. I saw that there was no one in the empty classroom. Suddenly there was a dense shadow. Yang Linlin was frightened and creepy. The body was unknowingly stunned. What are these black shadows? After hearing it, Xiao said that he could not be sure. Go our class to see. Then the two did not speak. Go straight to class in high school. Discover the same black shadow inside through the glass. The difference is that the shadow is not as many as the following, and there is also one on the podium. Strangely, these black shadows correspond to the position of the person who died during the day. Xiaoye thought that this could not help frowning. At this moment, Yang Linlin shivered and pointed to the front. Shown to see. What's wrong? Zoe looked up in doubt. Saw scarlet eyes are staring at him. And that eye belongs to the black shadow on the podium. Instantly, the two were like falling into the ice cellar. The hair on the body was so frightened. Quick Run realized that the bad Xiao Yili immediately pulled her. Rushed downstairs. Men are trapped in a strange school. He must try his best to live here for 7 days. Can push over time. Strange things constantly happening. Empty classroom. Suddenly there was a lot of black shadows. What is even more terrible is female teacher on the podium, at this moment staring at him with scarlet eyes. Zirji suddenly frightened. Quickly pulled the girl next to the girl to run madly. But just after running downstairs, there was a horrible laughter. A ghost that earns blocked their way to go at this moment. It's terrible. How to go? Yanglin was afraid. The heart began to beat violently. Mental power also drops rapidly. But Zai did not persuade it at all. Yang Lily is a bit unknown. The next second she was grabbed by Xiao as soon as Zhou was caught, then pulled her to go straight in front. Ghosts saw this and moved their bodies, ready to welcome the prey. At this time, Zelia threw out his own operating knife. The sharp knife flashed across. In the blink of an eye, I hit the head of the ghost. As the sound of the weapon pierces sounds, the horrible ghost laughter also stopped in summer. Zeoi stared at the other party down. There was a touch of smile on the corner of the mouth, because through the prompt just now, he knows that this is just a low-level ghost. Didn't you kill the unlucky ghost ticket to go to the toilet? Your soul weapon is faintly enhanced. No stay. Zeoi quickly pulled out his surgical knife, then brought Yang Linlin to continue running away. The door is not far away. Hurry up, it cannot be a teaching building. Zeoi immediately reminded. Hearing this, Yang Linlin's eyes were bright. Speed up again. Great, we will run out soon. Just when she was excited. As everyone knows, a pair of big hands have come behind. She was hacked as soon as she was about to go out. In the next second, Shadow grabbed the neck. The cold feeling sparks the whole body for a while. Have not waited for her to respond. I was dragged back to the building by the Shadow. Zeoi, who had just arrived at the door, heard Yang Linlin's help. He turned his weapon without hesitation. Surgical knife stab. Yang Linlin's ears were cut off in an instant. The surgical knife is rejected. Then she hit the Shadow behind me. With a scream of screaming, those arms so loosened the controlled girls. She saw that adrenaline rose to the extreme. Range rolled out and rushed to the outside. After a few seconds, I came to Xia. At this moment, she finally relieved. The body is paralyzed now, as the liquid also flows on the ground. She is gone. Xiaoi saw the exit and comforted it. After hearing it, Yang Linlin gradually returned to God. She touched with her hands. I found out that my ears are gone. Watching Yang Linlin tears and tears Wang Chuchu's pitiful appearance, Xia sighed helplessly. It's okay, the copy is over and I will grow back. At this time, the audience outside the live broadcast room was boiling. But my goddess almost gone. It is worthy of being the list. If I guess I do not return, I will run away. He actually wanted to save people. This flying knife is cruel enough. If you are more than... It is estimated that it is inserted on Yang Linlin's head. After helping her bandage the wound on her ear, Zeoi made a decision that surprised the big teeth. Then he said to Yang Linlin next to him, "You are waiting here. I'll go get..." The girl was holding her neck by the ghost. Fortunately, a man can escape from the shot. But she was shocked. She has not slowed down yet. In case it cares about you, would not you throw it from the net? Zeoi heard the words and started to explain. The ghost of this school is not free to move. They are all working in accordance with certain rules. For example, chasing our monitor just now? I expected that it will not follow us to run out of the teaching building. Otherwise it violates its own rules. The punishment we cannot imagine. Yang Linlin lowered her head and lowered her head. Then she felt her lower body for a while. Really shameful. Then she blushed into the topic. Then you enter the teaching building again. Is there any important information in it? Zhou answered it for a moment. The one in the hands of the examiner is too dangerous. There should be backup in the office. Can you take me together? Zoe watched her interested. Are you sure? She took a deep breath and answered, "Ok. What you know? Even if the score and points are cleared, it will be very low. Do not care about me. I'm afraid the other party refuses." She quickly added a sentence, "I followed you, in case I can help a little bit." Zoe hesitated for a moment and finally agreed. Then the two entered the teaching building again. I do not know why I did not attack them. Yang Lilin's inquiry. Zoe replied to verify his own guess. Those who died during the day. Soon the two came to the office on the 4th floor. After there is no movement in it, Zoe opened the door carefully and walked in. Some messy things in the room are scattered everywhere. Find the door. Zoe was looking for his own analysis while looking for his own analysis. During the day, there are 472 seats in 8 classes on the 1st floor. 121 students are distributed on a completely messy seat. I remember all their positions. The position of the black shadow sitting in the classroom on the 1st floor just now. It happens to be the empty seats in the classroom. If a class may be just an accident. But if the 8 consecutive classes are like this, I think this is enough to become a rule. But for the sake of caution, I went to the 3rd floor again. There, I saw the little fat man sitting in front of me. He was slaughtered by the supervisory teacher during the day. In a position I saw high shadow. We get the most basic conclusion now. These black shadows are people who were killed during the day. After hearing it, Yang Linlin doubted life after hearing. You said you put in the 8 classrooms on the 1st floor, 472 seats and the position of 21 students. After hearing it, Zhao looked up and looked at her in doubt. Yang Linlin heard this, does not know what to say. Why is the gap so big? Men were trapped in horrible and weird schools. He has to try his best to live for 7 days safely. He found a lot of black shadows in the classroom at night. These black shadows. It seems that the person who was killed by the monitoring teacher during the day. Yang Linlin heard his guess a little confused. But what's the use of this? Zoe immediately explained that Tao was useful, because based on such a rule, we can make an inference on the rules. People during the day are living conditions. The shadow at night is a state of death. Living and dead people cannot sit in the same seat. Otherwise it will be executed as a violation of the rules. Yang Linlin still does not understand what this means. But is not those black shadows dead once? Can you die again? Zio did not answer after hearing it. Japanese seal. He put the letter on the side and then looked at the roster. Not only does it have the name and time of the class, also marked everyone's position. Zioya remembered the time displayed in the classroom before. September 14th is today. The seat in front of my name is blank. There's no name there. It also means that during the daytime exam, that seat should not sit on someone. But the little fat man was sitting here. He realized that he was sitting in the wrong seat, but he does not know which position is the right place. So he was afraid that he would die because he sat in the wrong seat. Yang Linlin suddenly became excited after hearing, then we take this roster directly away. I do not know what I should sit in the next few days. Is the position on? This way you can survive for 7 days. Zio Owen splashed a pot of cold water is not so easy. We enter the copy on the 14th. A total of 7 days to survive in school. So in theory, if the daytime time is continuous, then the copy should be the end of September 20th. But the 20th register 20 is all blank. Yang Linlin heard this cool breath. Why? Zio's mouth showed a meaningful smile. Because on that day all of us will die. If you hear the other party, Yang Linlin's instantly spreads upside down. The mental power has also dropped a lot. Do not scare me, I'm very timid. Zio then picked up the envelope next to it. I found that there is a thick stack of luminous coins inside. There is also a short letter. The principal is really embarrassed. It's troublesome for you. I will pay more attention to such things in the future. I heard that his mother is his only relative. Please communicate with the mayor for you. The money's not much. It is a little bit of your heart. The content in it modify and change. Many key messages have been cut off. Obviously I have not had time to send it out. Zio frowned and began to think about it. At this moment there was a bite in the ear. The outline of the surgical knife has gradually emerged in the air. He immediately held the operating knife and looked at Yang Linlin. The weapon is back. Let's go to the principal's office. When they were leaving, the two quickly returned the items. Yang Linlin was curious and asked what he did to do for money to do. Zioya looked at her meaningful answer to prevent it just in case. Men accidentally got 100 million yuan. But he dare not spend a few minutes. Because in this world of ghosts everywhere, these underworld will help them escape for a robbery. Yang Linlin is full of doubts. Can you say it carefully? I still do not want to understand why you take those money. Zio explained it. Regardless of the person in this school is a person or a ghost, they are doing things in accordance with their respective rules. Teachers in monitoring. There are no special circumstances, we cannot leave the classroom for too long. But the principal is different. Most of the time of the principal in school, no teacher is busy as a teacher. So if he is in the office, we have to find a way to lead him out of the office. Yang Linlin's eyes bright after hearing. I understand this. But what does it have to do with him and this money? The words are just finished. Zio made a gesture. Because they have passed through the corridor, come to the office of the principal of the top floor. The two watched it carefully through the glass. Some unstable data began to emerge again. When running, this must not be you. When running, the rookie can be able to fight positively. As a result, he must be on the same feet when running. The principal is counting the underwriting coins in his hands. Obviously an out-of-the-box financial fan. You stay here, stare at it, I go to pave the money. Zioya told a wisp. Just started to act. He wants to use these underworld to lead the principal out of the office. It took about 10 minutes. He paved all the underworld in his hand on the ground. After doing all this, he patted his hand back to the office door and returned. After the door, you will run with me to the stairs of the rooftop, then find a place to hide. Yang Linlin nodded after hearing. She finally knows the idea of the other party. Then Zhao sounded the door of the office. As the principal turned his head in doubt, the two have left here quickly. Then the door was opened. The bloated and obese principals all walking out of the body came out. His head twisted 360 degrees, but I did not see people. There's only a faint urine smell in the air. He started to find it in the taste. I did not take 2 steps. The underwriting coin attracted his attention. Money. A lot of money. Quickly bent down and started picking up. Men put all the $1 billion on the ground. Immediately after a ghost from the head was revealed in the door seam. Guan looked at the bright red banknote below. He was stunned for a few seconds. I cannot help picking up the money involuntarily. When he walked a little way, Zhao Ai appeared in shape. We go to the office to find a file. Yang Lin heard this a little doubtful. Archives was... The school has caused serious damage to his mother, even killing his mother. I just said this. I saw the ghosts who picked up money have been drifting away. Zero quickly waved to let Yang Linlin keep up. So we want to find the file of that classmate now. See what happened? Yang Linlin carefully observed the surrounding environment. Ask while open. But if you really guessed, this kind of damaged school reputation, will it be recorded in the file? Zoe opened the locker and analyzed it. But student dropped school records. School. There are not many motivations to have a huge conflict with students of students. It's nothing more than children's safety, health or studies. Shishan University is a military training like closed school. School rules. Students are prohibited from fighting in strict control. The safe and healthy things of Weebu students. Almost not. So let the school and the students' house grow up and make trouble. Even the motivation to fight. Most of them are involved in students' dropout issues. Yang Linlin heard this light in front of this. Yet why did not I think of... Immediately after Zuofan watched, I found an interesting person from the file. Chen Kong's grade ranks first in the first grade. 510 Early love for the reason. A sharp-cut student with such excellent grades because of early love, being expelled from school. This makes him feel that things should not be so simple. Yang Linglin came up and glanced at the weird eyes. Does the school be expelled from students because of early love to expel students' school rules? And zero, I probably flipped a bit. Other discipline student files. The punishment of early love is that both parties stop classes called parents. Chen Kong is the only one who was fired. Such an excellent student. Under normal circumstances, it will only be slightly punished than other students, unless he is in the process of early love. It provoked a person who could not afford it. Yang Linlin was curiously guessing. Either his early love object has a background, either his love rival has background. Zioi is more inclined to the latter. After all, a person with such excellent grades, self-esteem is usually very heavy. Chen Kong pursued female classmates and female classmates to reject him. Chen Kai. Female classmates used the background to force him to drop out of school. This kind of probability is relatively low. If you are rejected by your favorite object, it should not continue to be tangled and beaten, so the second one is more reasonable. We have to check about Chen Kong's matter. There may be good clues. Yang Linlin shook her head helplessly after hearing it. Or to check. Our mobile phones are all issued by the school. No way to connect to the internet. Only lock. You can connect to the computer room. Zio said that the locker was closed, but at this time Yang Linlin was stunned in place. All around? She reacted. Trembling pointed to the position of the door back. Suddenly a murder permitted Zhou Yais. Realizing that the bad Zhou suddenly turned back suddenly. I saw the bloated ghost staring at him. The principal is back in advance. A pair of men and women touched the room of the ghost to find stimuli. Unknown. They have become the ghosts of the ghosts. I realized that the bad man suddenly turned his head. At this moment, originally bloated and obese black shadow, it turned out to be a teenager's body shape. He stepped into the room step by step. The wall skin of the entire house began to fall off, flowing the scarlet blood. You all? Damn the sound of the poisonous sound. Zhou Yili took Yang Linlin behind. Then I took out Li Lahen's real estate certificate from the storage space. Are you Chen Kong? We are here to investigate the truth. What happened to you and your mother then? That black shadow hears the word of the truth. I am a little stunned for a moment. Then I covered my head and made a harsh roar. This is called the vocal shock. Yang Linlin's health is constantly declining. I fight with it. Seeing that it does not work like this, she took out a shotgun from the storage space. Mother. Zhao. Black shadow sometimes laughed at the sky. Sometimes ear. Talking about these words on the interruption, then its head gradually began to swell. A moment of dozens of tentacles with spikes from the inside. The two of them looked a little bit numb when they watched this scene. What monster is this? Yang Linlin was scared like a sieve. The shotgun in my hand is almost unstable, falling on the ground. Black shadow then walked towards the two step by step, seeing that they are about to retreat to the dead corner and fall into danger. With a shotgun, you will come forward to fight. Zio, you run away, drag it. The one that is raised by the shotgun. The spike has come to my eyes. Flash open Zio as soon as possible. At the same kick on Yang Linlin's body. Next second, the spikes hit the position of the two people just now. Yang Linlin, who escaped the robbery, falling to the distant wall. He was closer to covering in danger again. He just landed. It was found that there were a few spikes that were pumped in an instant. The speed of speed made a sound explosion. It's over with Zioi's current responsibility. It is impossible to avoid this attack at all. If this time is beaten, it is estimated that he will return to the west on the spot. Seeing that he is about to die here, suddenly a gunshot broke the deadlock. Haiying made a howling sound and forced to terminate the attack. Ziri up. I'm here to cover you. Yang Linlin held the shotgun in her hand tightly. The eyes are full of firm color. So handsome. Although you're in pants, but she's indeed my goddess. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Zioe quickly stood up and stabilized. Basically cannot cause any effective damage to ghosts, but the impact of bullets, still helping him to resolve this fatal attack. Yang Linlin screamed at this time. Two shone the dark shadow. The body of the black shadow hid in a state of stiffness. Zioe saw the order and did not choose to escape. It seems to be thinking about scarlet color blooms in his eyes. Then roll towards the other party. This roll has brought closer the distance between the two parties. He took out a real estate certificate at the fastest speed, suddenly posted against the shadow. At this time, the spine also came to Zhao Yai's head. His head will burst like watermelon. At this moment, the effect of the real estate certificate is finally displayed. Ding Liu Lowen's real estate certificate has been unsealed, force sealing a monster within 5 meters, 10 seconds cooling time a day. Watching Haiying stunned in place and motionless, Zhao Yai quickly turned to see, run into Yang Linlin. If you say this, take this opportunity, run immediately in the direction of the door. The door at this time has been wrapped in black bugs. Yang Linlin raised the shotgun and pulled the trigger fiercely. After being broke, they fled to the darkness of the corridor without returning. After a few seconds, the shadow of the dark also lifted the seal status. Everyone outside the live room squeezed a sweat at this moment. Can they escape when they finish? Girl shoots the monster crazy with a shotgun. And the man took out the real estate certificate and posted it on the monster. But these operations, it cannot cause effective damage to the monster. Take advantage of a few seconds. They immediately escaped here. After going out and returning, the two fled all the way. The twisted black shadow chased the rear. Because the black shadow and the hands and feet are extremely uncoordinated, so the action should be slightly slower. When Zhao saw it, he waved his own surgery knife. A knife spiked to the heart of Black Shadow. Although you cannot kill this powerful monster, but the delay is still okay. Take this opportunity. The two quickly ran outside the teaching building. The distance from the shadow and their distance is gradually pulled away. After a long time, Yang Linlin gasped. Zoe looked around. It was found that it had been thrown away, the black shadow. So Jerez. Yang Linlin then asked him where he went to. Zoe answered to the computer room to see. There are still 3 hours from early reading tomorrow. Go to the computer room to touch luck. Maybe you can find out Chen Kang's affairs. Yang Linlin seemed to have thought about it at this time. By the way, I have given you a shotgun to you. We'll open the field in the future. You now use a shotgun. You can also increase the proficiency in the field of firearms. Zoe was polite to take over and thank. This shotgun is not an ordinary gun in the outside world. The rest was exchanged in the mall. Although the lethality of ghosts is not great, but the ghost can be stiff. For newcomers, it is a very precious item. At this time on the live broadcast barrage, the defeated person will sell 2,000 points in the mall. My goddess just gave it like this. Zio saved her twice. Back to a little gift. It should also be 2 people after 10 minutes. I came to the building where the computer room is located. Find a computer room. Zio picked up the gun and locked the door. Then the door lock fell to the ground. The scene in it also refers to the eyes of the two. For the last lesson, Zio asked Yang Linlin to look at the wind at the door. I walk in a big step it. Then use the network. Inquiry on the internet about Chen Kang, this person. Watch him crazy knocking on the keyboard. Yang Linlin could not help asking how it was. Zio Yiming answered the opponent's uprightness, which was very big. Those information on the internet has been blocked and cleaned up, but it does not matter, you can enter the high inquiry. Hearing this, Yang Linlin's hair slot black. See. What is that? Zio explained is the dump of the internet. Usually, the information in the internet will not be completely deleted. When all the data that has appeared has been cleaned up, the code will be discharged into the Black Sea. But the secret room where the Black Sea enters the room is very troublesome. Need to compile trial and error, modify and log in. Yang Linlin watched him a little puzzled. Are you a hacker before? Why do you know so much? But my spirit can communicate with data. I used to have a patient, he was a hacker, due to extremely serious delusion. He tells me every day, you can inject your spirit into the internet. In the Endless Code Marine Tour, at the beginning he was blindly in the virtual world. After a period of treatment, we can finally enter and play together. Hearing this, Yang Linlin was forced to face. The barrage in the live broadcast room laughed and died. The emotion to min is treated with you. I just say that this person's spirit is somewhat problematic. Will it be infected with mental illness for a long time? Did not you rid his information? You must be joking. Yang Linlin asked curiously, inquiring. What happened later? Zio sighed helplessly. Later there was me left in it, cause I cure his delusional disease. Yang Linlin was a little speechless after hearing. I did not expect you to be a joke. I almost believe it. At this time Zio suddenly shined in front of him. Then he made a noise and said that he entered. Yang Linlin was extremely different after hearing. The computer still shows the interface just now. Can his spirit really communicate with data? And Zhao Yishi shows that is completely different. A large amount of information was poured into his mind. Chen Kang's mother, due to the dispute with the class teacher in the 8th class of Shishan University. Accidental, fall from the 3rd floor corridor. The rescue died invalid on August 13, 3032. Dead cause of brain tissue severe damage. After the Zhou Dynasty Chen Kang Mixed Fire School, one knife split the head of his class teacher Liang Ming into 2 halves. The teachers and students in Shishan University, it also began to disappear mysteriously in 1 month. Unbelievable. During this time, Sidia sent a large number of police officers to search for Shishan University. But nothing. Hearing Zhao Yi's narrative, Yang Linlin suddenly remembered one thing. August 20th, 3032, August 20th, another month is September 20th. Is not it the day when our main task is over? Zhu nodded and answered, yes, the electronic calendar display of the daytime classroom. The date is also 3032 years. That is, we return to the last 7 days when the friendship occurred. No wonder. The location on that roster is only ranked until September 19th. Your guess is right. Everyone will die on September 20th. Yang Linlin thought that this could not help but be dying. I got the roster. Think only 1 step away. You can survive this hell difficulty. I'm so... Seeing this frustrating look, Zoe opened his mouth to comfort. Fortunately, today is the first day. We have a lot of time. From the current situation, just follow Zoe by yourself. The opportunity to survive is still very big. Yang Linlin took a deep breath and cheered up again. We still have a chance. I have to get rid of the spirit. At this time, the sky is gradually brighter. The faint, dense fog, I do not know where it spreads from it. Yang Linlin was keenly found that it was wrong. Zoe was foggy together. Wen Yan turned his head in doubt and looked at it, realizing that he immediately closed the computer immediately, restore the original state, then rushed to the door at a very fast speed, hold the hand holding Yang Linlin and escaped from the distance. Run, there is a problem with this mist. The man pulled the girl's hand to run deadly, but the mysterious ghost fog behind. Until people who make people completely become terrible monsters, Yang Linlin's brain is drowsy. She quickly bit her tongue in order to survive. Drama and blood in her mouth make her barely maintain reason. When Zhao looked at her, she could not support it, so I immediately pulled her towards the water tower in the distance. I originally wanted to go back to the dormitory, but you can only choose to go to the water tower to hide. The first floor of the water tower is locked by the iron door. Fortunately, Yang Linlin gave him one before. The shotgun whistled with the bullet. The iron chain fell on the ground. Zue pulled her in quickly. After the Yang Linlin is settled again, he found something and blocked the iron door, until confirmed that the fog outside did not penetrate it. Zioi stopped the action in his hand. At this time the mist is getting stronger and stronger. Some dense fog. The relevant data also emerged in front of Zoe's eyes. There are many weird things in Dingwu Advanced Danger. There is no influence of fog. Yang Linlin's spirit began to recover some, although the face is still pale. But the eyes are already energetic. Thank you for saving me again. If you hear Yang Linlin grateful. Zioi, who wanted to speak, suddenly found a strangeness. He took out a shotgun, aimed at the position behind Yang Linlin. I only say this once. Yang Linlin's panic asked what was going on. At this time the darkness behind him suddenly came out with dense empty sound. Seeing this scene, Yang Linlin suddenly frying. Sneaky man drilled in the debris pile. The man raised his hands with both hands and laughed. Do not kill me, I'm not a bad person. Yang Linlin hurried to Zio Yai's rear. Dim people, low-level dangerous inspiration. Congratulations on you have no reward. Actually found a living person in a strange school. See the scene. Zio Wei slowly retracted the shotgun in his hand. Then he was vigilant and asked who he was. A man smiled bitterly and answered a long thing to say. It's not safe here. Do not come in for a while. Let me take you to the basement first. The man said that he would remove the square bricks under his feet. He did not rest assured until he entered the basement. Introduce yourself. My name is Lai Xing. It is a mysterious event investigator of the original city police station. This is my identification. Zoe immediately checked it carefully. Then I introduced my identity to each other. Are you alone? Zoe passed the cabinet corner of the table lamp and asked. Lai Xing sighed on the dilapidated sofa. Not about 3 months ago. Police have stared at Shishin University. Student. The mystery of the teacher disappeared one by one. Police in City dispatched a large number of personnel. Nothing. So the pressure of public opinion in all aspects. Have to find it. After some preparation, I will bring a special motorized group. Come to this school. I did not expect but met strange things. It turns out that they came to investigate the motor group, a total of 27 people. But that day I happened to be fog at school that day. These people are in the fog, being terrible unknown biological attack, all on them. I did not even see the other person's appearance. It's almost a group out. In the end only 7 people left. The existence of the school in this school. 27 people went to this strange school to investigate the disappearance incident, but as soon as I arrived in the place, I was attacked by horror and fog, all on them. I did not even see what the other person looks like. It's almost a group. Finally, the captain Lai Xing brought the only 6 members of the left. Fleeing into the teaching building is spared, but after the fog is scattered, they found that the school could not get out at all. Outside the school gate there are horrible dense fog outside. 7 people can only stretch in a strange school. Remaining? After hearing these narratives, Zhao looked at him curiously. Taste, the 6 teammates with you? Lai Xingwen said somberly, answering died. Zoe continues to ask you what you say. You stayed in school for at least 3 months? What do you usually eat? Lai Xing's face is even more ugly. Can you not say this? Zoe seeing this seems to understand everything. Just then, on their head, suddenly there was a strange footsteps. The ground on the entrance is like a waste machine. Operating again. Squeaks. Then it is dense and messy. The footsteps that make the scalp are numb. The bleak chandelier started to shake left and right. Zoe quickly signaled that the 2 should not speak. 3 people dare not breathe. Seriously listen to the footsteps on the top of your head. It's hard to imagine what kind of monsters exist on it. That monster came back and forth for a long time and finally left. At this time, a few people were relieved for a long breath. Lai Xing whispered explanation. Not long. I found out that there was a shelter here. Otherwise you will die early. The words are just finished. Zio suddenly popped up. A few system messages appeared in front of. Player Zentao is too low in mental strength. Tao into a copy monster. Player Liu Bei was killed by the attack of unknown creatures. Congratulations to player Zhao Wai and Linlin touched. Send a hidden task to investigate the truth behind Shishin University. Task score. Yang Linlin naturally received the news. She covered her mouth and dare not believe it. And Zero performed very calmly. Then he looked at Li Xing curiously. At Li Xing, you have lived in this university for 3 months. Have not you encountered terrible things? How could Lai Xing smell a bitter smile and laugh? Shishin University is in a horrible reincarnation curse. These people who are like a household will die within 7 days. Rebirth? Repeat the curse of reincarnation again. The more terrible things will happen. Lai Xing could not help but hit it. I used to see it with my own eyes. On the 7th day of the last reincarnation curse, the teachers and students of the whole school are carrying their own bloody head, patrol in every corner of the university. Yang Lilin asked quickly after hearing, how did you escape from the past? Now that you can be in this college, survive for 3 months, can it help us live for 7 days? After hearing it, Lai Xing sighed helplessly. I fled the water tower at that time. I accidentally discovered this basement, then he escaped to the robbery. After hearing it, Yang Linlin was so excited that I knew it. The water tower must be a hidden safe area. As long as we stay in this place and do not run around, can live for 7 days. Lai Xing heard a sigh of sigh and sighed again. I am afraid that things are more troublesome than you want. The power of the school curse is continuously expanding. The water tower was indeed safe before. Those ghosts outside will ignore this area. I would not even look at the water tower, but then they gradually started to wander outside the water tower. Then knock on the door to test whether there is anyone in the room. Then they simply forcibly enter the water tower. Search everything here. On the 7th day of the last reincarnation, I almost exposed in the basement. This time we are still hiding in the basement. I'm afraid Li Xing said that this suddenly closed his mouth. Because the footsteps above the head sounded again at this time, and this time it is more dense. This footsteps obviously more than one monster. Once they are exposed, it is undoubtedly dead in the crickets. There was a banging impact on the ground. The cold feeling made several people sweat suddenly upside down. Zai realized that it was not good. Hold up the ladder and put under the entrance floor tiles. There is no connection under the brick at the entrance. The sound of knocking is empty. Must be in. It makes the sound of floor tiles sound the same as others. Zai said that he would use his body to reach the floor tile. And Yang Linlin and Li Xing also carefully pressed the ladder. Now the ghost is just down. There is no confident room below, although a thick floor tiles are hit across a layer of thick floor tiles. But Zhou Yai, who was still shocked, was full of spasm. All three gritted their teeth and supported. Dare not relax it. Until the ghost knocked for a while. After confirming that it's okay, leave here. Li Xing's heart has a big mouth, panting. Look, I said water. The tower's not safe. Want to survive the next curse reincarnation. Either find the next shelter or break the curse. Zhou Yaiman glanced at him and did not speak at a glance. And Yang Linlin on the side of Mai were on the eyes. Dispel. Do you know how to break the curse? 3 people hid in the underground room and shivered, because the horrible ghost above is looking for them. Once exposed, like the crickets in the middle, they must die. The way escape? Only the curse of this strange school. Yang Linlin asked how to break the curse of curses. After a while, Li Xing said that he knew the way, but it is very difficult to execute. If you cannot help yourself, you need a helper. Yang Linlin heard that we can help you. After hearing it, Li Xing bit his teeth and said, I believe you. Anyway, it is a dead end to drag this way. It's better to let go. After our previous research and investigation, we found that the curse of the reincarnation of this college begins with a student. That student is Chen Kang. He's a poor student. Early it's okay. But then my father was mining in his hometown, buried in and died. The coal boss runs a penny and does not pay. Leave their mother and child dependents on each other. Mother's disability can only support life by tailoring. Fortunately, excellent grade. I was admitted to the Ishishan University and received a large amount of school aid. This is the cradle of breeding his dreams. It's a pity that there was an accident. His table was called Zhang Ye with a good performance. It's been a long time to get along. Chen Kong fascinated her crazy about her. Later I moved to a transfer student Pang Xiao. He is the mayor's son. I like. Just let the class teacher directly exchange his position with Chen Kong. So the best person in the class is in the last row position. Chen Kong knows that his family is poor and he has always been patient. But see Pang Xiao sometime. Put your hand into Zhang Ye's clothes. But Zhang Ye dare not resist. He finally could not bear the inner anger. For revenge, he bribed a few of his own scholarships. Classmates of bad family situations. They will be Pang Xiao in one night, dragged to the small woods and stunned a fierce meal. But these are all monitored and photographed. They could not help the interrogation. They confessed Chen Kong. So Chen Kong was ordered to drop out of school. Afterwards Chen Kong's mother came to Shishan University, find the class teacher for love. Under the dispute, the head teacher disappeared and pushed him down the stairs. You should also guess the later things. Chen Kong's mother's death. The forces behind them were together and pressed down. After a few days Chen Kong sneaked into colleges alone, with a kitchen knife, the head teacher of his own. After the escape, the no news. Speaking of this, Li Xing suddenly paused. Actually, this is just outside news. In fact, Chen Kong did not run at all. He died in colleges and universities. He died in the underground garage in Arabi. Because the resentment is too deep, it has affected the entire college. The way to break the curse is to destroy his account when we first entered colleges and universities. But before you have time to use it, he was attacked, mainly in the Western District underground garage, a vertical well with dirty fire. That special weapon requires identity recognition, but it would not take too long, as long as you can help me. Attract the attention of Chen Kongling's body. Destroy Chen Kong's account. It only takes 3 minutes. After listening to these inquiries, Yang Linlin looked at Zhao Yi. Do you think we want to help him? Zhao thought for a while and said it was okay. When do you act about? Lai Xingjian. The other party agreed to look at a moment of joy. It's too late tonight. We will come to the water tower here tomorrow night. I take you to the underground garage in the West District. 3 people were trapped in horrible and weird schools. Only by destroying the evil ghosts can the curse be broken. Escape here for peace. They make a plan and agreed to start the next night. Time will soon arrive the next day. Zoe and Yang Linlin came to the cafeteria, waiting for the night of night, because they have the help of the roster, so it is safe to live in the classroom to the end. Zhao can pick up rice in his mouth. Ask the other party if there is a fish line. It's fine enough to be tough enough. Yang Linlin has some doubts about what do you want to do. Zoe said faintly 2 words of killing. Hearing this, Yang Linlin stunned. Who killed? Zoe raised his head and looked at her seriously. Li Xing, seeing that the other party does not seem to be kidding, Yang Linlin suddenly panicked and killed Li Xing, who can help us break the curse. After hearing it, Zoe laughed. If you still expect him to help us crack the curse, it's really not far from death. Here, Yang Linlin quietly lingered and whispered to ask what it means. Zuzi explained Dao Di for a while. He is just investigator, not a student in class 18. You do not think his description of Chen Kong is it too detailed? Lin Chen Kong saw the mayor's son Pang Xiao. I know everything in Zhang Ye's clothing. None of the 3 of the 2 are not in the roster. If things are completely according to Li Sheng's description, I want. Having can make the entire school. Chen Kong, who is in a weird power, may let go of Pang Xiao and Zhang Ye. At least he will not let go of Pang Xiao. The basement of the 3rd water tower. It was not he discovered by accident. Ivan suspected it was he built. Yang Linlin heard that. I dare not believe it. This is unlike. Curse of the school. Has spread into most corners. Where does he come from? Build such a big one in front of so many evil spirits. Basement. As soon as Zoe fell into Zoe, he expressed his opinion. There is no dust in the basement without gray basement. I deliberately tried many corners yesterday. Lantern sofa. Even those obstacles have almost no dust. And very. The basement generally does not clean up, so clean is definitely often lived. You said. After the answers, it is almost impossible to build a basement on the face of evil spirits. The basement can only be built before the ancestral spell occurred. Yang Linlin was stupid after hearing the descendants. The observation of the other party is too scary, right? Is it if he deceived our purpose? Zoe went on explained. Psychological, popular lies are usually true and false. In order to make the lies more logical and authentic, there are often some real elements that need to be added. For example, even Chen Kong, who is no evil ghost, there is definitely danger that we cannot imagine, unless Xing really wants to enter the well-known vertical well. It's just that he will never come out once you go in. That's why he lies. Do not let us take death to help him attract the ghost outside. Layer of ministerial analysis. Let Yang Linlin completely believe his words. Then he took out the fish line from the storage space. After handing it over to the other party, Yang Linlin asked what she should do. Zoe fiddled and said he did not need to do anything. Whether you can succeed depends on this time. If you are lucky, we can break this curse tonight. Sky gradually darkened. At this time, Lei Xing is constantly back and forth at the door, after seeing the two arrive. How did you come so slowly? Let's step on the point quickly. There's not much time left to us. Those ghosts will be permitted on campus again? Every corner. After hearing it, Zoe nodded and said that there was no problem. Then let's step on the point now. Three people continue. Sneak walking towards the underground parking lot towards the West District. Lai Xing introduced. There are 3 entrances and exits in the underground parking lot of Western District. That ghost is in Division 6. My own plan is like this. You two go in from gates. Drive the sound to attract the ghost, then escape from the other 2 doors. Let the ghost chase you. Leave the parking lot. I lurked. Waiting for you to quote that ghost. I immediately went in to start the weapon. When Li Xing speaks, the expression presents an unnatural excitement. Zhu saw this scene, more determined to guess, but he still started to act calmly. When passing by a corner, Zoe took out a grenade, tied to the entrance of the hardcore. Above, the fish line that is almost invisible in the dark, the other end of the line is hidden in his sleeve. In order to escape this horrible strange school, 3 are ready to go to the underground garage, dispel away the evil spirits inside. After the plan was planned, Zhou and Yang Linlin carefully groped forward. Zhou Xing outside the door is nervous to die, since there was an accident. He's been in this weird school for a long time. There are fewer and fewer companions. There are fewer and fewer people who can eat. Can you survive and see this time? The 2 soon came to the interior of the underground garage. Eyes are sweeping everywhere. There are wandering grievances. Zoe asked Yang Linlin to wait. Make up quiet. As the distance approaches, the red oranges in his eyes are getting heavier and heavier, even a slight red light. Ding player Zoe's source code is wrong. Try to fail to The cold voice has been repeated in his mind. Originally dark area. It's all obvious in Zoe's eyes. At this moment, he seemed to be in the perspective of God. Everything in the underground parking lot is seen by him, including the horror shadow hidden at the corner. X2I quantum state is extremely dangerous. Movement speed is extremely fast. You can cross most obstacles. The attack is strong. You cannot fight. The behavior of killing everything. Great priority to the units with loud sound. Weak Q Ding's cat. Weaks to body. After getting these data, the red mang in Zia's eyes slowly dissipated. After a few seconds of disappointment, the pupils were rejuvenated again. He immediately took Yang Linlin back to the fork road back. After the 2 are hiding, Zoe picked up the phone, sent up information to the other party, and Li Xing also returned an oak. There was a ruthless smile on his face in the darkness. To blame you, you are not lucky, you are not lucky. The words of strangers, how can I believe it easily? On the other side, Zoe's mouth also emerged. The next moment he suddenly pulled the fish line in his hand. Originally, the fish line that was originally visible suddenly collapsed. Just when Li Xinggang wanted to act, the sound of the ring went out of the grenade sounds. A loud noise burst suddenly. The violent roar spread throughout the underground parking lot. Li Xing was directly shocked by the terrible impact force. Nearby walls. He's not had time to think about what happened. It was swept away in the eyes. The horror black shadow rushing towards this side. The adrenaline of Wu's heart is instantly rising. Immediately took the black shadow to stay away from Area C. Xiao Yizhi, stubborn Yang Linlin, go to the vertical well engraved in the place. On the road, Yang Linlin was curious about that he was not a novice. Where to come from the points buyer thunder? Zoe answered lightly. I used to have a patient as an arms dealer. I cured his addiction. So he gave me a box of grenade as a reward? I like to bring a few grenades on my body when it's okay. Boring, take out a plate. Hearing this, Yang Linlin was instantly forced. After prying open the manhole cover, she took out the flashlight and gave it to Zoe as soon as symptom light shot on the wall of the well. There are no dirt, no dust. The smooth alloy coin reflects the light of the flashlight. At the bottom I found a dead road in front. There is a red button in the middle. If this button is not wrong, it is an elevator. Zoe pressed it immediately. Then the elevator door slowly opened. As the 2 entered the elevator's silk smooth operation, the decline process lasted for 3 minutes. Then appear in front of the 2 is a narrow pure white channel. Simple shock. Cannot describe Yang Linlin's mood at this moment. Who would have thought of hundreds of meters underground in a university? There are such buildings. Izia, this should be a strange experimental base, because since met the principal, he feels wrong. Generally speaking, the more powerful the ghost, attacks are often based on ideals. Unusual means are difficult to resist, can be found according to the experience of two copies, bosses, but the attack method is completely physical. This shows that the principal is not a ghost but a monster. Strange School Shock is not a pure spiritual copy, his worldview is larger than expected. Zeus said this, it seems to have a very enjoyable expression on the face. At this moment, Yang Linlin quickly motioned for him to watch. I only see the channel, lying on a few experiments wearing special clothes. It's like being bitten by a large beast. In order to escape this horrible strange school, the two have to come laboratory 100 meters underground. As they keep in-depth exploration, hidden secrets behind the strange school is gradually exposed. At this time, there are many experiments accounts scattered in the channel. Fragmentation. It's like being bitten by any large beast. Although I do not know what they have encountered, but it is certain that it will not be safe here. Zioi looked at the surrounding weeks. I took Yang Linlin to a corner. At this time, an encrypted alloy door appeared ahead. He came to control room. Facial verification is required to find door lock. Yang Linlin suddenly showed his frowning face suddenly. What? We are now. It is likely to encounter that horrible black shadow. The words are just finished. I saw Zoe suddenly took out the operating knife, then turn around and walk towards the account. What are you up to? Yang Linlin's eyelids straight followed behind. Zazir not answered. Self-care starting to live. After a while he returned to his head with one head. Now her belly turns over the sea. I almost spit out ding. Portrait recognition successfully. As the sound falls, the heavy iron door also slowly opens. Zio usually puts that head in hand. Post it in your own item bar. Even his only well-preserved head does not let go. Yang Lin followed closely behind. The hands holding the gun have begun to sweat. Obvious. There is still a huge danger in this underground laboratory. The two explore the fork on the far right, on the road holding a special manuscript on the hand. The work has reached the ending stage. Almost half a month Dad went home. Rest assured this time Dad will come back. See the content above. Yang Lilin sighed helplessly. Is a good father who loves daughter. I still remember my daughter before dying. Zoe answered lightly. Yes, he is a good father. But in addition, he may still be a murderer. The death of thousands of people outside the school. It is likely that I cannot get rid of him. Yang Linlin was a little speechless when he heard this moment. She suddenly did not sympathize with this man at all. At this time, there was a harsh friction sound from the corner of the distance. The muscles of the two are tight. The two of them walked along the sound source carefully, then hold your breath. Quietly observe the situation in the corner. I see the next second. A white giant leg appeared in front of the two. Hundreds of tentacles extended on the giant leg. Touch top. There are also abnormal heads of fist size. Yang Linlin feels that the whole person is not good. What is this special? Disgusting? What a beautiful creature. The audience outside the live room was instantly shattered. Whereas the beautiful thing like was he? Suddenly start understanding. Why did the previous he saw the elevator female ghost and would be excited. Yang Linlin lost the square inch. Then let's do next. How to deal with this. What is the creation? Of course it is steady and cautiously handled. Zioi said that he took out his own surgery knife. After hearing it, Yang Linlin quickly raised her shotgun. But at this moment, Zioi has rushed towards the monster. Ding exclusive reminder of the variant of riots. Ultimate danger. One semi-finished product. It's not a star that is not the same as the quantum state outside. Hemorrhoids on weak buttocks. Obviously those lunatics are doing terrorist experiments. I did not think of the mutant body. It will also get hemorrhoids because of a long time to sit for a long time. At this time the monster discovered Xiaoyai. Rushed to the target. The moment the two are about to meet, Xiaoyai suddenly took out Liu Lan's real estate certificate. The monster in front of him was locked into the small black house. In 10 seconds where monsters are forcibly sealed, Xiao has been taken around it behind it, then passed by the hemorrhoids on the other's ass. When the red blood blooms like chrysanthemums. The monster's body collapsed to the ground like mud. Congratulations to you to kill the riot's mutants. Your soul absorb the cause of evil gods with mutation body. Insufficient power cannot continue to be rebuilt. Followed by your soul weapon to get special ability entanglement. Units that have been hurt by your soul weapon. The wound will continue to grow out of the greedy. Until the unit. The strength of the greedy food is related to your strength and level. For the first time, Zai heard the evil god model because of this name. Although I do not know what this is, but just rebuilt 1/10 of 10,000. Increases power by 8 o'clock. I also got a special passive skill. Feeling great. Yang Lin behind him carefully asked if it died. Zioe answered yes. It should have been a perfect creature. It's a pity that its creator is not too good. Speak. He took the operating knife and started to dissect it. There are no useful clues. The two continue to walk along the passage. There is a huge trainer at the end of the martyrdom. The nearby operating instrument has been stained by blood. Zirulai opened the drawer under the instrument, finally found a useful experimental log. The perverted psychologist was trapped in a horrible and weird school. To escape, he can only go to the abandonment of 100 meters underground. Laboratory looking for clues. After the adventure solution to the monster with 18 kidneys, finally got a pretty useful experimental Japanese paper. An experiment is not careful. His kidney, more healthy and stronger than the previous growth. Mayor on August 24th came to inspect. Madman in the hospital on August 26th. When eating on September 3rd, I asked my colleague if the monster was riot. Can they stop? But he seems to have disappeared about my words. Also, make human beings eternal. When I asked again, he was September 13th. We paid a heavy price for our stupidity. Everyone will, including me. After Yang Linlin finished reading the above log, guess should be an unknown riots in the laboratory. That experimental disconnection control created by them, then kill everyone. Zhou could not help frowning slightly. At this time, what he seemed to think of, whether it is a quantum state of riots outside, still the monster we just met. Impossible. Generate, they must have a base state. It's the most primitive look of the experimental body. He said he was operated on the instrument next to him. I just need to put these data, restore according to the way they originally operated, and see what the most primitive base state is. It's enough. At this time, the instrument runs slowly. The displayed monster pattern is a little bit, after peeling the data on the body, its weird appearance has gradually begun to restore. The first is the leg, then the hand is the last head. When the monster is completely restored to the original, after the base state Yang Linlin is stupid. I did not expect that the predecessor of this monster turned out to be human, and still a woman. Zero stared at the projection picture on the screen and thoughtful. Monster cell. Has high activity and adaptability. Means that this girl is very young? Bold some speculation. This girl. It is likely to be a student in the university. Hearing this speculation, Yang Linlin shuddered instantly. You mean this university underground? Build such a huge mysterious experimental base, is to transform students into monsters? These people are criminals or lunatic? Ziosi asked for a while. Answer: the monster has 8 kidneys on the monster just now. Every kidney is very young. Now it seems this laboratory may be selling human organs. If the experiment is successful, this cell, you can continue to cultivate new monsters. They have a steady stream of kidney that can be sold. That means they cultivated a vault of money to make money. This experimental base is obviously more than this project. The experimental view just now mentioned. Experimental. It seems to be shaping some kind of creation about quantum state, the black shadow we met outside. Might be. Experiment. The rioted quantum creature described in the return ambition. Yang Linlin was so angry when he heard this. Actually build a human experimental base under the school, cultivate children into this monster. It's almost good. They are not building a human experimental base under the school. Instead, the construction of this underground experimental base is quite complicated. If the school is completed, they secretly build an underground experimental base? Impossible. So obviously the experimental base was built firstly, in their plan. Shishin University is also part of them. They need to be young enough, a vibrant object to test various experiments. Ask 1. What other organizations can be metaphorized to be famous universities? Give more famous statistics. The health of young people and their health. Let's go. You can complete the hidden task. Zuza, I took the other forks where Yang Linlin went to. On the way back, he peeled the monster of the 8 kidneys again. Yang Linlin was disgusting and vomited directly. Zue appreciated it for a while. Then I reluctantly put it in the storage space. The two are on the other side of the corridor. At the counter, I actually found a huge white cafeteria. The two carefully looked at the door seams carefully. There are countless monsters in it are eating, and their food, those who have been rotten. Yang Linlin covered her mouth and dare not believe it. There are so many monsters. How many students are missing? Did not the police involve the investigation? Zero opened his face. People who build this laboratory must be able to pass through the sky. It is likely to be the mayor of Cydia, but he should not be able to do these backs himself. I'm afraid there is still a huge team. Yang Linlin was a little scared at this time. What to do now? Are you leaving? Zioe did not speak. I smiled and took out the skin just now from the storage space, then tear into 2 halves and hand it to the other party. Yang Linlin immediately understood his thoughts. I do not split this thing if I kill it. She said she would run away and ran, but the next second was dragged back by Zhou. Then I did this in Yang Linlin's expression of shit, pat up the wicket and ugly coat up. Blood and monster skin on the strong taste, can cover the taste of the two. But if the monster discovered their disguise, then they will be torn into fragments instantly. Zirilo held Yang Linlin and pushed the door to the cafeteria. Squeeze of the crunch. Thousands of monsters with twisted shapes turned around and looked at this side. An ugly monster but by the man in front of him is a treasure. Because of the strong smell of bad smell above, can cover the breath of human beings. After the two were worn well, they opened the door of the cafeteria. Now, thousands of mutant monsters turned their heads to look at this side. Their eyes are full of doubts. Seems to think that the two are similar, but they are completely different. So they slowly approached and wanted to test it. Watching these monsters coming, Yang Linlin's legs are even more powerful, and Zoe's abnormal excitement. Pull Yang Linlin to the monster in front of the monster, these artificial monsters. Although it has strong aggressiveness, but they're all for people, it's very tolerant for them. One of the heads with bone bang. The girl with a bad face made a strange voice. It's imitate. The same sound and movement made. The monster is obviously more puzzled. I asked a few more words again, and Zai repeated it with a word without a word. After a few times back and forth, this monster seems to understand. The same kind in front. It's a rereader without emotion. Only those who lose their interests are separated by themselves. Yang Linlin finally took a breath at this time. She imagined many about Zhao. How to resolve the crisis in front of you? But I did not expect Zhao Yayim to put this rereader. The key really pretended to be outrageous when he was out of his mother. There is no blocking of monsters. After the two dangled in the cafeteria for a while, Ziri took her a door in front of a door, because he noticed that there were 6 doors in the cafeteria. But this fan has never been in and out of monsters. Even when they pass the door near this door, it will intentionally bypass. Hearing him, Yang Linlin was curious to ask if you want to go in and see if you want to go in the meeting now. Discovery. Zoe naturally knows this. It's not when you go in. Let's see if there are other clues in the cafeteria, right? Then the two pass by a corner. There are 2 monsters in the corner. Good disgusting. Yang Linlin saw this scene in the stomach. I started to roll up again, after seeing the 2 of the monsters. Pour your food over. Zioi saw the enthusiastic appearance of the other party. Suddenly speechless. Cannot eat at the atmosphere to eat here. To respect it slightly, he had to pick up some sisters, put in your mouth. This scene made Yang Linlin beside Yang Linlin shocked. See Zioi eat something. Monsters have completely dispelled the suspicion of the 2 people. Zioi turned around under that account. One of the manuscripts attracted his attention. 2 fusion failed. The department received the destruction instruction. After so many years of hard work. Why is it unsuccessful? Is Shishan experimental base? It will repeat the mistakes of Guxuan Town many years ago. But we cannot tolerate failure. Mayor, let us bring experimental data. They will find ways to destroy everything about Shishan. We have to put it at the end tonight. Really in tone. Zirai could not help but frown a hit. At this time, the sound of the system suddenly sounded in the ears of the 2. High task to investigate the truth behind Shishan University. Complete task. The reward will be distributed after the mainline task is over. The content on the manuscript confirms Zioi's conjecture. Shishan University was built for the experimental base. Those excellent students who gather from all parties in Cydia, both become. Previously in the copy of Jukshu Hospital, I've also seen a distorted black shadow. It is inferred from the note content to the black shadow should be Xi. That is, experimental base is likely to be more than Jiji Hospital, 2 places with Shishan University. Since then he turned his head and looked at Yang Linlin, but at this time, she found that Yang Linlin was sobbing, whispering. Xiao Yijing quickly pulled him away from that position. Come to the door without a monster nearby. Then stop. Hearing Xiao Ice asking Yang Linlin's whispering answer, I know the hidden task is completed, even if you die back to the guild station immediately. Also but you can watch so many students in the cafeteria. I cannot get up at all. They once embraced their longing for the future. How much sweat and hard work. Only admitted to this school. I did not entering such a scary artificial hell, be cruelly made into various monsters. Really unimaginable. How despair should be when they lie on the experimental table. Zioi heard her shoulder and comforted her shoulder. Listening to sympathize now they are useless. Hurry up and pass the main line. Maybe you can get out of this experimental base. Behind this, Yang Linlin wiped her tears and cheered up again. What should we do now? Zioi really watched him answer. First we have to find a way, with the black shadow united front with the outside garage. Hearing this, Yang Linlin did not dare to believe in sleeping foam. What with that guy united front? RZ. The underground 100 meters of universities built an experimental base, and excellent students from all parties. Both were brutally made into various horrible monsters. After learning about these truths, Yang Linlin suddenly felt cold all over. She cannot imagine how desperate these people were sent to the laboratory. Zioi understands that it is not when they are sympathizing with them now. If the 2 want to escape this weird school, do you have to find a way? Monster united front with the outside garage. Because the situation of chasing Lai Sheng from that black shadow can analyze. He is left. This is the ultimate creation of this experimental base. The quantum state of riots is unstable and very powerful. Yang Linlin was stunned instantly. Then you have to unite the front with him? I'm afraid you will be stuck before you talk to him. Zoe asked at this time he had such ability. But dangling at the entrance? Do not you feel strange? Yang Linlin thought for a while to answer. Maybe cannot find a place to go. I've been hovering there. Zioi shook his head and denied his inference. Do not tell you to find a place. He cannot find a place. It's better to say that he is. When he heard the movement, he went to kill Li Sheng. Explain that he does not want anyone to enters his experimental base. The monsters in the experimental base. I would rather eat rotten households. Do not want to go out. Explain that there are things they avoid Xin outside. Obviously they are not X2 that they avoid Xin. Because if X2 wants to go in and kill them. So if you do not guess wrong. The only thing that can cause them to be prestigious is a curse. That is the unknown ghost hidden in the dense fog. Yang Lin asked curiously. You mean they are hostile to the dense fog outside? Zhou nodded, then took out the keynote. The mayor of Cydia asked the experiments to withdraw the data with the data. Out of Shishan experimental base. They will find ways to help destroy everything here. After watching Yang Linlin, I realized that I understood it. This thick fog meteor curse is the way they want. They have to use the friendly spell. Wipe all the experimental traces here. Zoe's mouth showed an excited smile. Answer. Unknown ghosts in those thick fog. This is the real hunter of this copy. It is also our main task and branch line task. Problems that need to be solved. See this weird expression. Yang Linlin could not help but be upright. That dense fog is more difficult to deal with your excitement. Zoi explained a smile and explained. Now the contradiction has been established. City Mayor wants to pass the friendship spell. Destroy everything about experimental bases and Shishin universities. And the experiment X2 wants to save all of this. He's obviously self-conscious. This is a good thing for us. After all, the enemy's enemy is a friend. If we have a way to communicate well with him, maybe from his mouth, get the key information about the mantra, it can even help us complete the task quickly. Yang Linlin was silent for a while, then stretched out his little hand and tried Zai's body temperature. No fever. How can I talk to nonsense today? Zhou Yai pushed her hand and calculated. Explain, you very troublesome. Just follow me in a while. Then the two waited in the laboratory for a long time. Yang Linlin boringly asked what we were waiting for. Zhou Yai answered, the monsters in the canteen to rest. Since those things were transformed by humans, in the final analysis there is some kind of creature. It will definitely be tired. If you are tired, you will go to sleep. Let's take a look at door while they rest. If you do not guess it is wrong, it should be related to X2. Then how do we go in? There is a password there. Yang Linlin saw it as soon as he said and saw it. Zhou Yai holds the operating knife. Remove the staff's head. Then, he took his head to the place where the password lock. Ding recognition in the middle, face recognition successfully. As the sound falls, the door slowly opens up. The two of them carefully groped in, but the scene in the door made them numb. Laying in front of the two of them is a giant jar equipped with green liquid. Inside, there is a dense humanoid neuropathy network. The top of the nerve also connect the brain and a pair of eyes. What the hell is this? Yang Linlin could not help fighting a chilling battle. However, Zoe's eyes are full of appreciation. This stuff is really artwork. Whole body. Only retain the most important blood vessels and nerves, maintain its cell activity with nutrient solution, and use external stimuli instead of the heart to complete the cycle. This omnidirectional stripping surgery, among the patients I met before, only one person can complete. Hearing this, the barrage was boiling instantly. He is not bragging, right? How can this surgery be completed in real life? I graduated from the medical school. I'm very responsible to tell you, this surgical reality can also be completed. I have not done experiments with living people. Nervous stripping of this degree, the anesthetic has no effect at all. Yang Linlin carefully approached the cultivation tank. Do you mean that he is still alive? Zhou nodded and answered, right. Because these nutrient solution and machine cost, they are extremely expensive. Those lunatic researcher. There is no need to spend so much for a dead person. He said. He walked to the experimental desk on the other side. There is a note on it. The first page of notes is written in God. Speaking of concentration is the essential quality of condensing the spirit. Kindness is the lock of the sealing power. Anger and fear are the key to unlocking. This seems to be the quotes of certain theology and philosophy. Just as he thought, Yang Linlin's exclamation came from the ear. I saw electronic label on the jar. The X2 native Chen Kong is written on it. Adaptability 9% spiritual condensation is excellent. This name makes Zoe surprised, interested, thinking that Chen Kong was used to make two contemplation. After the meeting, he turned around to find the list of experimental participants. Sure enough, I found a few familiar names above. Experiment Zhang Yang Xiaosheng. Zoe raised his eyebrow, brain to run quickly. Finally understood all this. Peng Xiao is not the son of the mayor at all. Zhang Ye is not the goddess of class 8 in high school. They are all experiments pretending to be students. Help look at the experiment in the school. These two play different roles. Intentionally approach Chen Kong successively. The purpose is to follow the records recorded in the notebook. Open Chen Kong's kindness to release the demon in his heart. Generally speaking, the better the students, the more concentration is naturally higher. It is difficult for people with 3 hearts and 2 to build their studies in their studies. The best school in the city. The purpose is actually for filter those experimental bodies with high concentration. No wonder the roster of that flower. No name for Zhang Ye and Peng Hao. They are experiments. It may run away before the curse happened. As zero analysis, a cold voice suddenly came in the ear. You guess it is basically right, but these 2 dogs are not running. It also became a victim. Le Xing, who lacks 1 arm, shows his earning expression. The M5 in my hand also aimed at the 2. Unexpectedly, thousands of dangers Lao Tzu still come in. The 2 small hybrid games ended here. Men are stripped away from bones and flesh on the whole body. Only the most important blood vessels are left, and messy nerve ending. But a nutrient solution and external stimulus, under the action of instead of the heart, the people in it still live in this world. After seeing this, Zui also unlocked the experimental Chen Kong. The scammon has expanded, but at this moment, Le Xing, who was hunted by the monster, suddenly appeared suddenly. He lost his arm and took him 5 and pointed at the 2. Yang Linlin was frightened and immediately raised her hand immediately, and Zui walked around. Stand and move Lo Tzu to shoot you to death. Le Xing threatened the threat. Zui's mouth showed a smile. You shoot it, you have to have a bullet and shoot it out long ago. I do not believe you can hold it. After hearing it, Lai Xing did not talk nonsense. Surprised, the bullet hit Yang Linlin's left leg instantly. She snorted and collapsed to the ground, holding his legs and crying without tears, staring at the other party. It's not me who is fresh, why do you shoot me? Lai Xing panically and apologized quickly. Then I took the muzzle again to Zhua, but due to too much blood loss, bangs trigger buckle. Yang Linlin's legs explode again. The audience in the live broadcast room laughed to death when they saw this scene. How much is this marksmanship with a little personal grievance? When Zhao saw it, he took off the clothes of the two people, then tear the sleeve into a cloth strip, help the other party bandage. Alright, you count us once, we can count you once. 4 houses and 5 enters, you now owe us a loan. Say, what can you help us? Help us. Hearing Zoe's shameless remarks, Lai Shinki's whole body is shaking. Who fucks 4 houses and 5 enters me and I owe you? If it were not for you, I still want to send you a little with Lao Su. He pressed his anger in a shuttle. Slowly open. Since you have come here, just prove that you have already understood the things. That's right, what we did. The curse of this school is also, if you want to leave, you must find a way to close the curse. Like shit, come to the instrument next to the jar to operate. As long as the X2's life compartment rights are closed, X2 death, the remaining variants are basically no prestige. The organization will send someone to close the curse soon and clean up all of them. Zhu, stop. Do not bully yourself. Organization will not rescue you. X2 logic. Attack the ghosts in the fog outside. It will soon flow into the experimental base in large quantities. Do you think you can resist the offense of the ghost? Hearing this, Lixing's face is very gloomy. Have participated in this experiment. Master the hidden data they have not mastered. Has high. The organization will not abandon me easily. Zhu stared at him to refute. If you are really important to them, they have already sent someone to save you, instead of letting you live in this ghost place for so long. Looking forward to the organization behind you to save you. It's better to believe in us. At least the current. We barely are a person on the boat. Lixing was furious instantly when he heard this. He held the MP5 and resisted the opponent's forehead. Dare to talk about it again. Lo Su collapsed directly with you. Zhu's face is not in the slightest panic. The taste of being abandoned is uncomfortable. You are as loyal as a dog? In the end, but this was like this? Draw you big cakes when they use you. When throwing you, it looks like throwing garbage. Do not be stupid, do not want to live, just say a word. Only we can help you now. You kill me, it is equivalent to suicide. Lixing stared at him with gritted teeth. The hand that grasped the gun is trembling. I'm afraid he will buy Zhou Bao in a fire and go to the fire. In the end, Lixing still slowly put down the gun. He sat on the ground decadent. Then take out the cigarette point. Then I took a sip in my mouth. Is it very pitiful? Yang Linlin covered her injured leg, staring at him angrily. You are also embarrassed to say you are pitiful. Students who are tortured by you? There is also the pile of nerve endings of the jar. Is not they more pitiful than you? After hearing it, Lixing smiled tragically. Do you think I want to do this? My daughter is in their hands. 7 years ago my wife died of cancer. Ask me before leaving. We must take care of our daughter. Speaking of this, she cannot stop slipping in tears. I'm sorry for my daughter now. Yang Linlin heard this. At first remembered the manuscripts I saw in the broken hands before. Do you all your wives and children are all controlled by that organization? Lixing nodded helplessly. You think we are unhappy? In fact, where do we have the right to choose? If you let you choose your own family, or a stranger go to death? Do you choose a family? Yang Linlin was silent for a moment. If you really stand on the perspective of each other, I'm afraid I will make the same choice as him. After all, people are selfish. Okay, talk about cooperation. You can mix in this school. It's not an ordinary person to think about it. If you are willing to help me this busy, I will tell you the way to close the curse. Hearing him, Zhu smiled and asked, is not it for us to help rescue your daughter? Lixing immediately shook his head and rely on you. Do not say to save my daughter. Just you, once close to the organization, will be discovered at the fastest time. Process. Of course, if you do not bring this silly woman, then you should live a longer life with your little cleverness. After hearing it, Yang Linlin roared immediately. You're stupid, your family is stupid. Zhou has been looking at, he hesitated for a moment. Then do you want us to help you do? Zhou finally revealed the inside story of the strange school. Want to escape here? You must close the curse of Ghost Fog. But the only way to close the ancestral mantra is Lixing knowing, so he can only promise the other party's conditions. Lixing worked hard to get up from the ground, then step by step to Bai Shan, go to a corner of the room. Then I opened one of the cabinets. After tearing off the cover wallpaper of the cabinet, a metal safe appeared in front of a few people. Lixing then entered the fingerprint and password. After he was exploring for a while, take out a bottle of weird reagent. He finished all this. Patience gave the reagent to Zioya. Zioya asked what this was. Lixing answered is a product of another project. The means are still immature, but the degree of danger is no less than 2. The organization will not let go of this thing. Maybe a few months or a few years. Even though this has become a ruin completely, they will definitely send someone to search it. Once this kind of thing falls into the hands of the organization, Lixing said that this dumped his head. Try to keep yourself sober. Due to too much blood loss, his sense of dizziness is getting worse. Curse. Everything comes from a magic box. As long as you turn off the box curse, it will disappear. You go out from the secret road I come. The box is in the center of the fog. The ominous things in the fog will not attack the suspected dead fog. If you can minimize your emotional fluctuations as much as possible, maybe you can go there. They are passive. Emotion. Let's judge whether it belongs to its own attack object. Remember, do not be surprised at seeing anything in that fog. Do not be afraid. Once you have a large emotional ups and downs, it will be heard by the nearby devil to hear the meat fragrance. Lixing once said the last sentence after saying the last sentence. Over. Yang Linlin is about to stop he bleeding when he sees it. Zioi shook his head and said that he did not need to spend his strength anymore. Long-term. has made his body weak to the extreme. In the process of fleeing just now. Adrenaline. Squeeze again on his body again. There are so many blood loss now, unless there are regular hospitals nearby, can give him blood transfusion immediately. Otherwise Hua Yan will not be saved in the world. Yang Linlin standing aside is not a taste. Do you think he is credible? Zhua thought for a moment to answer. From the perspective of a psychologist, I think he is telling the truth. But this is obviously not the way the system left for us. There should be a simpler way to destroy the ancestral mantra. Otherwise, even if someone knows this method, there will be 9 floors on this road. Yang Linlin sighed helplessly. Then we have to find another. Is the method of destroying the curse. Zhua stared at my Dao a little eager to try. Although the shortcut is not easy to go, but it must be more direct and effective, Yang Lin reminded. Too dangerous. Even if your spiritual value will not fall in the thick fog, but when there is emotional fluctuations, it will be attacked by those ghosts. A strong interest appeared in Zhou at first glance. Thousands of psychologists who have treated thousands of mental illness. I am very confident in controlling my emotions. I will now. Yang Linlin did not choose to follow up. She's very. You cannot maintain your spiritual value like each other. Go will not only trouble Xiao Yishin, also looking for death. After all, you can be mixed to the hidden task. The scoring is already blood to earn. Now she only needs to be in the laboratory, waiting for Zoya to complete the task. You can clear the level. Zoi has been around in the secret room passage for a long time, finally seeing appearing ahead. A elevator? This dense road opens to a very deep underground. It is also operated by the vertical elevator, but unlike the vertical well guarded by X2, this requires member permissions, so the ghost outside cannot get in. Zoi took out the people from Hetty from the storage space. I did not expect the bad mother to know anymore, can be recognized successfully. The elevator continued to run slowly to the top. At the moment of opening the door, the strong evil spirits rushed to face. I saw a woman who was full of blood outside the door. Back. Terrible evil spirit cursed by evil. They will only add you as a stone with a stone. The female ghost is holding an arm to eat. No wonder Li Xing would rather take risks to provoke X2 before. I do not want to use the secret channel here. There must be extremely terrible things here wandering. Zoe then slowly walked out of the elevator. Then was very friendly to post behind the female ghost. He did not want to be an undead knight. No way this woman just blocked this. After the female ghost feels the fiery behind, I turn my head immediately. The face of the horror lime. The audience in the live broadcast room was more cold sweaty. One person, one ghost to look at the whole second. Slap. The sticky smell of stinky tongue. Just cover his face. I will definitely be eaten on the spot. Seeing the other party is not moving after a few seconds, the female ghost retracted her tongue, and Zaya took out the handkerchief and wiped off the sleep liquid on his face. Then there was an embarrassing but not rude smile. The man stared at the female ghost who was bumpy back and backward. Blood gas? Pasted closely behind the other party? Response. The female ghost stretched out the smelly tongue. Lick his face. The man at this moment stands in place. Dare not dare to have the slightest emotional fluctuation, because once the female ghost is noticed, then he will definitely be eaten on the spot. After a while I saw the other party without response. The female ghost took back her tongue, and Zoe wiped his face. Embarrassing and polite smile appeared. Then in the expression of the other person's blank expression, slowly he sucks. Since a strange data update, the remarks that appear are becoming more and more unfair. Always climb along the stairs of the secret road. Soon I came to the miscellaneous room of the school gymnasium. There is no horrible mist here. August 8th. Cut hair. Cut your hair and cut your mother and sew it into the doll. Zoe found it along the sound source. Discover. Nursery rhymes are sent from the mouth of a little girl. She walks straight to the little girl. Everyone outside the live room is curious. What is she gonna do? Did you pass the knife directly? Then he drew a little oil on his hand. Children, how do I ask the center of this fog? Hearing this, the little girl stopped singing. After a long silence, pointing in one direction. Zioi left a sentence thank you and left here. The little girl stood in place and fell into meditation. She does not understand why the stone speaks to speak. Zioi understood everything through the test just now. The rules deprive himself 6 senses. You cannot judge the living by the sound, taste, and light and shadow. Even if people are touched, they will not take the initiative to attack people. Fear, terrible excitement, etc. This kind of emotional fluctuations can attract their attention. The dense fog outside the stadium is filled with. There are more and more ghosts inside. There is a headless female ghost with ballet in the deep fog. There are devils who are playing the piano in the piano. There is also a butcher who dragged the giant knife, and the crack woman of the mouth cracks. They are hiding in ghost fog and kept swing back and forth. Zoe walked in the depths of the dense fog. Make a spiritual value always maintain 10. There is no emotional fluctuation on the face. The audience in the live broadcast room is nervous and dare not breathe hard. I'm afraid he will hang up if he accidentally. With the depth of the deeper fog, the more fierce and horrible the ghost met by Zoe. Just gorgeous crying. Zirip's bleeding is almost violent. A pure black elk glanced at Ja. One of his legs growing a worm. And started continuous rotten. A piece of paper man with bright and oily color. Just as yelled by Ziai. Zui's body immediately appeared ghost fire. But even if his burned face is all, there is still no emotional fluctuations since the beginning and end. There's no painful expression on the face. The audience outside the live broadcast room held the breath nervously. I do not know how long I have gone. The fog finally dissipates slowly. 2 households appeared on the open space. Zoe looked at it for a while, guessed that these 2 people should be Zhang Ye and Pang Xiao. But no matter who is now, it does not matter. He squatted, plucking out the worm on the leg, then took out his own operating knife, poke worm's belly. It has a small black vein on its body. This is the passive greedy of the evil god model due to derivative. The worm struggled for a moment and lost his life, the vines on the body blooming gorgeous flowers. Then gradually, without this worm, Zio's legs will not continue to rot. After he bandaged the wound, just came to the golden box placed on the ground. The workmanship of this box looks exquisite. Zio stepped forward and opened it. After opening, a small golden ancient tower was slowly raised inside. The tower made a brilliant music sound on the tower. Zio lost his mind for a moment and returned to normal. He grabbed the box and covered it. The magic pattern on the surface of the box exudes black magic. Gradually become a giant ghost noodle. The magic pupil burned on the ghost's surface, watching the bottom below coldly. There are countless horrible ghosts around the man. He was not afraid to pass through here. As long as his emotions have a trace of fluctuation, countless ghosts will tear it into fragments. Fortunately, Zoe finally came to the end of the ghost fog, opened the golden box on the ground. A large amount of fog suddenly gathered in the air. A ghost-made ghost face in anger slowly emerged, then the ghost fog and the inside are unknown. Inhale in your mouth together. The reward will be settled after the mainline task is completed. Congratulations to player Zhao Ai for getting hidden items. At the same in the Chaos Philadelphia, Yang Tao, deputy chairman of the Corner Connection, sit in your own office, looking out the window with a long look. A moment later, the sound of knocking on the door sounded. A man with a face smile came in. Vice President, are you looking for me? Yang Tao hit a gesture to signal him to sit down. Learn from you alone. If you say it, you will hand over Zhao Ai's information. After seeing Zoe's name, Balt's face was dignified instantly. Yang Tao nodded and answered, yes, Balt does not seem to want to mention this person, but I still said it for a long time. Vice Chairman, you know, our family has a disease. I prefer to call it talent. The desire for slaughtering in our blood. It has never been changed since the generation. My father Kapar will go to the arms dealer. His talent is the best I have ever seen. Behind many wars there is the shadow of my father. There are no less than tens of thousands of people he have killed, known as the king of military fire. Since I was young I have exceeded him as a lifetime goal, until the father. After meeting Zoe he changed. His addiction was cured. This is a shame for me. Killing is what is engraved in our genes. How could it be cured? I do not. That father who was once the king of arms. Become a kind old man who fishing all day to play chess. Yang Tao said faintly after hearing it. So do you kill your father? How much do you know about his father's treatment? Bala thought about it for a while. Their treatment is secretly performed, and although they have been with each other for a long time, but in fact the treatment time is very short. As for my father's addiction, probably within a day. Maybe it is within an hour. Because of the short time, I will feel that my father seems to have changed a person. Yang Tao continued to ask, have not you been in contact with him? After Balat listened his body was shaking slightly. Once in contact with, there is a feeling of fear. Hearing this Yang Tao is a bit different. As a Saray and the madman standing at the top of the food chain. Actually tell the facts of my fear from my mouth. Balpin's fist after a mood. Where's the vice chairman? Yang Tao replied that it is now all the mixed union. What you know? Although the union has a poor construction degree, the union is also outrageous. But said halfway he stopped. Okay, you go to rest. 1 month later the wave of the demon will appear. You press your level first. By then play well in it. Maybe I can finally get a stroke from the Lord's nest. Balat nodded out of the door. I see. If you have a chance, I will wash the shame of the family. At this time in Shishan University, Zero I returned through the original road of Midao. Yang Linlin breathed a sigh of relief. You're back? I thought you Zoe said he was okay. Return. Use these experimental instruments to cut your rotten legs. Hearing this, Yang Linlin suddenly stunned on the spot. Cut your own legs. The man picked up 2 steel saws at hand. Want to cut off your legs without anesthesia. The whole process has never blinked his eyes. This scene is too much. The girl next to the girl could not help vomiting. After Zai finished all this, he showed a relaxed expression. Okay, now you can prepare with X2 to communicate with X2. Yang Linlin is a little puzzled. The task? Why do you have to adventure to communicate with him? Zio smiled slightly and answered. There is an old saying called Lai Sheng exchanges. They set up such a curse to me. If I do not respect their gifts, it's so. Yang Linlin heard that he understood some. Want to use X2 to deal with the organization behind them. I do not think it is possible. The other party can create such a horrible curse. The power behind it must be amazing. Can a riot experimental body work? Zioya's eyes emerged with a touch of light. Yes, I have to pass his ontology. Teach him something. Teach X2 what do you teach? And Zira. Answer some very sparse and common knowledge of Taoism. Time is coming soon. 3 days later before the main task of the main task, the moment before the end of the main task, X2 really returned to the laboratory. Yang Linlin almost scared him urine by him. Quickly took out your own small pistol. However, this experiment ignored her directly. I came straight to Zioya's front. Yang Linlin saw this person stupid. Watt really taught the copy boss as a student. Although this is unreasonable, it does happen. The figures of the two gradually disappeared into white light. In the corner of X2's mouth, A smile that shows the same smile as Zhao Yiming. At the same outside Shish University, here's a large number of armed military chiefs. Preliminary investigation. The curse of Shishin University is closed in advance. There are no living people in our instrument detection. The chiefy heard this wave. Very good for Tima to explore the road in advance. After entering the laboratory, report in any case. In a group of armed motorcycles, Fool's Morning Arrival Ishiyama High School introduction, but they do not know. Waiting for them, how terrible existence is. Transmit back to the building of the city's mixed sub-guild. Congratulations to the player Zhou Yiguan. Strange school shock. The main task has lived in colleges and universities for 7 days. Branch task breaks the curse of colleges and universities. Get the scoring S to get items for the doll for the dead doll. Pandora Magic Box. T202 Solution State. Once your dazzling performance. Liu Ruking leaned on the door wearing a thin pajama, holding the red wine glass lazy. Many people are surrounded by many people on the square. I do not know what I'm watching. Congratulations to you to complete the copy smoothly. Brother Zoe, your live sister has already seen it. The performance is great. Zio smiled modesty after hearing it. Where, such a simple copy, you can have hands. Liu Ruking heard the words why to him. The smelly boy of Versailles. What's wrong with Sister Liu? Why are there so many people? Liu Ruking sipped a sip of red wine and answered lightly. If you have nothing to die, you will know after you are dead. I will. This kind of thing is very common. Zio then walked curiously. Crowd. I saw a weird body lying on the ground. The 10 fingers of that man were cut off, started from head to toe to the shape of twist, and has been stretched by several meters. This point of view is not normal death, is caused by some weird power. Zio squatted down and turned over his head, on the face of the household, filling with a rash and weird smile. This scene makes people nearby feel hair. Zio has a strong interest. He reached out and squeezed many parts of the account. I found that I could not touch the bones at all. It should be the wound of the murderer from the back, remove all his bones. He did not leave any residue. This exquisite method is either a doctor, either a butcher. But judge from the big opening of the knife marks, the opponent seems to be a butcher. Zio observed it for a while. Then he said to the little girl next to her, can you use your carbonated drink for me? The little girl nodded and said it was okay. There is no carbonated drink alone. Take another egg. After a man listened, I volunteered back to the room to get eggs. The crowds on the onlookers are curious. What do you want, eggs and carbonated drinks? Is there any special help to solving the case? The man from head to toe was twisted into twist shape. Not only is the whole body stretched a few meters, the bones on the body are all eliminated. This exquisite technique. The murderer is either a doctor or a butcher. Zio had to have eggs from the people around. Just observed it seriously. Then under the public. Put the eggs in the mouth, take a few bites with carbonated drinks. After drinking he was satisfied. Then he turned and strode away here. I've eaten potatoes for several days in the copy for several days. Still cooking eggs delicious. Everyone who saw this scene was covered. I thought you were going to solve the case. Philantim is here to deceive, eat, and drink. Zhao Yiji returned to his room straight. After locking the door, I lay down on the bed. Open your own system panel. All information and rewards are presented. It feels strange to see the attribute at a glance. The system asks some things my level has improved. Why does the power not improve? System explains after listening. The level of the player only affects the opening of different copies. Will not improve strength. Power attribute. Including the player's physical self, healing, fighting, strength, multiple aspects such as speed. If you want to improve your strength attribute, there are 3 ways. The first is to complete the Great World task to get talent points. Add on your own attribute. The second is to open mid-range malls, exchange blood vessels, ghosts, residual limbs, and ability, etc. For example, at 202 in your hand, after Zio heard it, what was the field of field that was in that field? The field belongs to the specialty type, used to enhance the upper limit of players. At present, there is a psycho field in the primary field. Elemental field. Strong area. The level of the field is divided into 8 levels. More senior branches have reached D in the field. Class can be upgraded. In the field, form and special bone area. Many posts have had a complete analysis. Domain. It is also the most suitable area for newcomers. Domain. Newcomers in the early stage of the garbage can hardly open the mid-range mall. In the low-level mall, the most lethal is basically some firearms, and the field of firearms is to the end. It can also evolve into mechanical Gundam. It can be said that although the later period is not strong, but it's definitely not weak. Detect your mental strength very high. Do you want to choose a spiritual field? Behind the spiritual field can evolve into a mind. The harder the promotion is in this field, the more difficult it is, but like a strong field. Once you enter this class, upper level, strength, it will completely open the gap with other areas of the same level. A player can only choose one field. Believe in your spiritual value. There must be a lot of actions in the spiritual field. After hearing it, Zhou nodded and said, well, since then I choose to strengthen the field of body. In the eyes of the system, Zhou is completely wasting his excellent talent. Seems to start from choosing a guild. He has been wasting great opportunities in front of him. Zhou successfully activated the field of strength. This means that he can exercise and fight. Come to keep your strength attributes continuously. After the field activation, His own strength also came to 18 o'clock. Hold the double punch. Obviously I felt an explosive power. Small punch on the air. You can even hear the vague sound. Just when he beat the air crazy. There was a knock on the door suddenly from outside. Zoe opened the door carefully. I saw a simple little fat man as simple, Zhangji Lion standing at the door. Hello, are you brother Zhao Yai? I come in and talk. After entering the room, the little fat man introduced himself as Fang Bei. It's the newcomer like him. It's also 3 levels now. The purpose of this time. I just want Zhao to do his big world task. He will pay a certain point as a reward. Zhao squinted and asked how much points. Fang Bei gritted his teeth to answer one person 000 points. After hearing it, Zhao was a little surprised and there were others. Fang Beijin explained that this is like this. The big guy of our union does not care about it at all. And the person in the middle thought all day again thinking about changing jobs. So the new people at the bottom layer are very poor. Everyone is basically a gang for each other. More and more newcomers enter. A chaotic group without leaders. In an environment without clear law. How messy will be. I do not need to tell you for you. To live better. I can only pull a small group to temporarily hold the group to warm up. Although the union is not allowed to fight each other inside. But it's just on the face. If you really want to kill someone. There are so many methods behind. Brother, let's come to you. On the one hand, I think it can be added. Strengthen the strength of your own team. On the other hand, I hope to complete the world task together. After all, the reward of world tasks is very rich. The difficulty is also great. We do not want to give it to others. Zoe opened the task for details and watched it. He's curious. Why did you complete a copy and come back? The world task of the union is still on the guidance task. There should be many people fighting for it. Fang Bei clenched his fist and explained the way. The difficulty of our union's guidance task is a bit outrageous. There are already 6 groups to do tasks, 27 people in total, but the result is uninhabited. In this weird world. Want to live? Just need to follow the clown ghost. Play a game with the butcher ghost. You can unlock 2 scenes after winning. The clown ghost and the butcher ghost change from neutral to the guild. The allies of one side. It will be unlimited to provide water and food needed for survival. Failure. The butcher ghost will peel off the bones of his body. Bowl soup to listen to Fang Bei's introduction. Zui is suddenly interested, so when the guy outside does a guidance task, if you lose the game, there will be only 1 skin left. Is it so difficult to guide the task? Fang Bei nodded and answered yes. We go to the forum to view guidance tasks of other unions. Most of them are simple, but rewards are basically equal to no. Guidance tasks like our union. Reward 3 talent. Rare. Corresponding to generous rewards. Natural is also unusual difficulty. Zui touched his chin. It feels very interesting. How many people do you have? When will you prepare? Fang Bei saw him agree. Quickly answer. There are 5 people in our current small team, 1 Hong, except for you and me. There is also a cute girl who is not normal. Qinshan was a beautiful woman who was underground prostitute by Shuiji. Honest and honest middle-aged uncle. Liu Han. As for the task, they can be moved at any time. It depends on when you are free. As soon as Zhou heard it, he stood up and informed them. Let's take a look at the situation now. A few people simply introduced each other after a few people, then leave from the Union Station. Go to Panshin Highway. And occasionally I can see a few figures in the mist. They are all players who try to complete world tasks. Squatting the entrance to the young man who is smoking, there are still many younger brothers Fang Bei next to his eyes. For a step forward. How about the situation in Xiangshan? The youth heard the words ignored him. Instead, he turned his head and looked at Zoe. Some of the. I have watched Zoe's live broadcast wonderful clip, knowing that this guy is not only strong but also a bit crazy. Is not this one list? I want to share and I want to share it. The younger brother next to him was surrounded at this time. Dare to grab the reward of the elder brother. Your kid is so brave. After Zoe heard a friendly smile. I know this reward is very rich. Everyone does not want to give other people. But have you ever thought, this is just a guidance task, there are tasks and rewards behind. If everyone is stuck here, no one cannot get the later things. Stick money together or starve to death together. This sentence. The mentality of many people has changed. Subtle changes. Sang Weishan feels some reason, so he nodded and agreed. Give you a chance if you want to go. Many people have been dead. Good for you. I can tell you some clown in advance. Rules of the game. Clown game. A total of at least 3 people enter the game. Guess fist with him. Terrence to guess 10 times. Before the boxing, the hands of both sides will be covered with black cloth. So what cannot be peeping? People who guess the wrong person need to cut off a finger once. Win in 10 times even if the game win. If this person failed to win 3 times, will be thrown into the breeze behind him. I do not know what horrible things are there in it, but the person who entered has never come out again. The previous player who guessed the fist with the clown failed to be killed. The latter player of the game will be later. Continue to guess with the clown, and reset the entire game score to start again. In addition, we also explore clown's 3rd time guessing, and the 6th time guessing is fixed. Will scissors and claw? Fang Bei asked curiously after hearing it. According to this law, his 9th or 10th time is also likely to be fixed guessing. 3 victories are enough. Why you so far have not completed this task yet? After listening to the Shanjashana smiley, looking at him like an idiot. So you are willing to take your life to try the fixed guessing fist afterwards. Come to make a wedding dress for others. Fang Bei was silent after hearing. Indeed, if the trial and error earlier makes people see hope, some people will be eager to try. Then the last trial and error. Instead, no one is willing to do it. People are selfish. Why should others be beaten by others to eat sugar? Zua smiled slightly and lamented these useless youths. Go and see. When I heard Sang Weishan, I asked the younger brother to give up away. After several people enter the station, The youth who was in a nasal nail was asked with doubt, "Brother, are you wrong?" I remember the fixed move of the clown fist, not scissors and club. A touch of poison flashed in the eyes of Weishin. "What do you know? Who's ya?" Before the list of newcomers, in front of the guild building, you did not find Liu Rodian? Is that bitch looking at him wrong? This kind of person only needs to live. Do you think the manager of the guild will we still make us up? The young man next to him suddenly realized, Big Brother Yiming. Come and give it to you. Looking at Xiang Shan's eyes, there was a little bit of fear. Xiang Weishin's guy is indeed a perverted murderer. Zoe. But Zoe is Layer 1 with reward and women's powerful competitors. The rich women in the union are strong and beautiful. If you can kiss Fang Zi in the future, would not have Fly Huang Tengda. To live in this horrible and weird world, everyone has to walk into the clown's territory. There is a pungent bloody smell in the darkness. There is a broken finger scattered on the ground. Bai Shuji got next to Zio. Remind us, brother. That guy's eyes were wrong just now. I think he might be lying. Zio answered himself no. Seeing that there are a few white water in his heart, you do not say much. Several people. Playing the ghosts not far away the past. The clown with the funny makeup waves at them. Excuse me, you are here to buy things. Still here to play games. Zio took one hand on the counter and asked, what are the benefits of playing games? The clown ghost began to talk about it excitedly. If you are willing to play the game of guessing with me, and I want me 3 times in 0 times. Provide all products in the grocery stores with infinite quantities. After hearing it, Zio nodded. The clown ghost showed a smile of a rash. You lose. Then you need to pay a little price. That's so. Then he introduced the game rules to a few people. The clown continues to add, I have to emphasize with you, or cut on my finger. Otherwise, the clown said that this pause is paused, the finger towards the direction of the Deburas. Numerous pairs of horrible eyes are dead. Watching the crowd dead, a few people were scared to be creepy when they saw this. The girl named Chen was indifferent. After winning the game, can get 3 talent points, and team enters the game together, but no one who has no chance to participate. Get a 1-day fun point. If you are sure you want to form a team to participate in the game, please come in and sit at the round table in the shop. Our game starts right away. After listening to Ms. Zoyiz, walked in, Girl Tianxian followed without hesitation. The remaining Fang Bei 3 are some. This game is within the scope of the guild. If it loses, it means that it cannot be resurrected completely death. But as Xiao Yuan, they can get a little talent. Ordering this thing is very precious, especially in the early stage. Each force brings to people to improve, all visible to the naked eye. This is a problem. Bai Shuji gritted his teeth and finally chose to follow the rear. The old lady wants to fight. Women like me have to stand in this place to stabilize the heel. There must be some investment. Besides, 000 points are given all. If this is not to go, would not it be a loss of blood? Fang Bai and Liu Han also made up their minds after looking at Dam's fight. When I am a grandson, I watch this time. After seeing 5 people come back, Clown A smile, my dear guest, please sit down. Open the V first to help everyone. Speaking of this, he took out the remote control and clicked on the monitoring. The players who participated in the game before, the miserable death of the rules, the harsh screams in the mouth make people shudder. The spiritual values of the other 3 people are slowly decreasing, and Zoe and Qian's spiritual value has no fluctuations. The clown has issued an invitation at this time. Whoever you now play with me first. Zhu smiled and raised his hand. Mr. Zhao. I'm here to play with you. Simple boxing game. Actually scare the participating people. The person who loses will not only cut off your fingers. I have to be pulled to a small black house to death. Whoever you now play with me first. When he heard the clown, Xiao Yi immediately raised his hand. Then the game starts. With the clown's arm wave, people in other seats were controlled and took a step back. Only Xiao Yi was facing him. Sit across the ball table. The next 3 minutes, you can discuss each other. Let's decide what fist do you guess. After deciding, you can put your hand in the black bag in front of you, then pull the bag from the same time from the machine. There are no monitoring equipment in the bag. After hearing it, Zhao nodded, I believe you. Then he watched Fang Bei's opening again. What out? Ask me. Xiaoya looked at him with a little smile, just ask you. This is not like Zia's style. Does he have any special meaning? For example, to confuse the opposite audiovisual. After hesitating for a moment, he said about it. If you lose, do not blame me. Zhu nodded and answered. Fang Bei gritted his teeth and made scissors with a small channel. Clown, he laughed. I also put my hand in the black cloth. The robotic arm above the head drops down. Gently grab the black cloth in the hands of the 2. Both sides of punching. Now reveal the answer. The words fall into the robotic arm and suddenly lift up. Is yours? And the clown is stoned. I'm sorry, you seem to have a little luck. Clown. Push the cutting machine to the other parties. Xiao Yisha does not have much to see. The words directly extended the index finger of the left hand into the cutting machine. Bloodlight appears in the next second. That finger who has been with him for more than 20 years. Just say goodbye to him. The next few people were scared at this time, and Zoe's face was not panicked. He turned his head again and looked at Fang Bei again. Ask what I am out of the second time. Fang Bei dared to continue speaking. He quickly waved his hand and asked Zhao Ye to decide himself. After hearing it, Zhou nodded and smiled. Then I came out of the stone. The clown's eyes are full of strong interest. This man seems to be different from the previous prey. He gave me a feeling of anxiety. I'm curious, what kind of prestige can he bring to me? As a result of the second round of Xiao Yishi Clown Claw, Zazila's went to bed. Cut off my finger again. A few people were stunned on the spot immediately when they saw this. Xiao has no emotional fluctuations since the beginning and from the end. Obviously I did not intend to win in the first 2 rounds. Clown, there is extremely weak red light in his eyes. Clown trigger neutrality if you play games with him. If you lose you will die of the family industry, unless he cannot beat you to regain his family. Known ability to have perspective when opening your eyes. This is the date of the clown. As Zirians, he can always predict others perfectly. It is cheating by your own ability. But what you want to win the game is not to expose him, but use this point to force him into the dead corner. Now that it has reached the 3rd game, according to the news from Xiang Shan, this time the clown will definitely produce scissors, but his news is not necessarily reliable. If you can verify that what you can tell Wei Shen this time is true, the probability of winning will be greatly increased. If it is fake, it is dangerous. Zoe was not in a hurry to guess the fist, but staring at the clown on the opposite side and asked the clown, "Well, Mr. Kame, someone told me you will have scissors in the 3rd round, is it?" After listening to the clown, a smile. "I cannot tell you this game rules, but I like you very much, so you can disclose a little bit with you. I will have a fixed guessing fist in the 3rd and 6th rounds. But what is it I cannot tell you?" Zhu nodded and responded. Knowing this is enough, the two then put their arms into the black cloth again. The crowd stared at the field in full eyes. They are nervous. I can even hear my heartbeat sound. The machine arm slowly fell down 2 pieces of black cloth. Suddenly the black cloth was pulled up sharply. The closed cloth. And Zoe's scissors finally won a game. Everyone was relieved when he saw this, and the clown seems to be very happy. He stretched out his fingers and put it into the cutting machine. Congratulations to Zia, but it seems that the guy outside has tricked you. A game of rock, paper, scissors with fingers as the stakes began. I lost twice in a row. Also cut off 2 fingers. Although knowing the clown is leaning, perspective ability cheating, he could not expose him. Because as long as the rules are not violated, the game cannot be stopped once it has started. Fortunately, in the 3rd round he won once thanks to the rules. The Joker seemed very happy. You reached out your finger and put it into the cutter. Congratulations to Zia, but it seems that the person outside has deceived you. Zia smiled a wick smile upon hearing this. Yes, I will definitely take revenge. I will repay him. The clown looked at him with great interest. Are you so sure you can walk out of here alive? Zoe asked with a shake of his head. So how can you be sure that you cannot walk out of here alive? Mr. Joker, you really like to gamble, do not you? Why not? Add a new twist to this game. Upon hearing this, the Joker hesitated for a moment. What twist? Let's talk about this later. Next, the two continue to play rock, paper, scissors. In the 4th round, Zoe lost. In the 6th round, the Joker lost. In the 7th and 8th rounds, Zoe lost. In the 9th round, Zoe lost again. Now we have reached the final round. At this moment, the Joker showed a regretful smile. Mr. Xiao, it seems you've made a mistake with your choice of fingers to cut. With the fingers you have left, you can only play scissors or rock. The following Beishuiji does not understand what it means. Fang Bei then explained. If Brother Zhou has 3 fingers left on his right hand, then he can still play cloth. But now when he spreads his fingers, it's scissors. When he clenches his fingers, it's a fist. He's lost the option of paper. According to the rules, the two of them throw the same sign 3 times in a row. The Joker. This means that from now on the Joker just needs to throw a fist 3 times in a row. Then Zhao is bound to lose. But strangely, Zhao knows his situation well, yet shows no signs of panic. Mr. Joker,